Peace to each and blessings. This is Unplug 'em with part 2, Brotherhood of the Ball. And we're going to try to get it in and fit it in like it ought to be done, y'all. First, a recap. Yesterday, I just wanted to really set the foundation for certain things. And I believe we did that. We're going to go over, for those who may not have seen part 1 yet, we're going to go over a couple of things. But first and foremost, Almighty Most High Creator, I ask right now that you guide my tongue, my mind, my heart to be in alignment with your will. Let me be invisible, for you are invincible. Okay, we're going to start with scripture I put with yesterday's teachings, for those that did not look. And we're going to look into a lot of things today. We're going to focus on Jordan, but we're going to touch on several interesting things that I found today while looking through some more information. Just every time I think I'm done with this, I find more stuff. It's because sports is a huge part of our society, and people write a lot about it, and they talk a lot about it, and so there's a lot of information about it. And then, you know, whenever you're looking up things with the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit, as your guide, you'll find much more than you bargained for, and that is indeed happened. So this is going to be interesting. So let's jump right into it. 2 Timothy 3, chapter 3, that is, verses 1 through 5. This know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. From such turn away. And there's a form of godliness that's attributed to athletes. We talked about that more in depth yesterday, but we're going to do a little short recap of yesterday, or else this will be long as y'all mean. So we're going to try to hurry up and do this thing. But first, a few shout outs, just a few, not everybody, because if I did that, we would never get done, now would we? But you know, to constant supporters and constant commenters, you know, I owe you a debt of gratitude for your encouragement and for your support and for your viewership, and some of you even for your friendship. A big shout out to my brother Nick. Nick, I've not forgot you. We're gonna get on today. We're gonna rap today, believe it. And to my sister from another mister, my real down sister. I don't know if she drive or I ride shotgun, but we roll good like a team. My sister Precious, much love to you and to your King B. And also big shout out to Velma Jenkins. And thank you for your comments as well. You always have something valuable to add. I got a couple new folks too. Lashid for you now. You know, sometimes people's comments get thrown in spam before I get a chance to get to them, and this one was in spam. When you send me a link, that tends to be where it automatically goes, I think. And so, you know, that's happened with some of you, like my homegirl Precious. You know, she always has something good to add, and sometimes I get mad because I have to find it in the spam folder, which I don't even look in sometime, and then I don't look at my YouTube inbox like I should. But I promise you I will do just that. And I had really wanted to comment more on what was said by Corey Lafferty, so look forward to that. You said a mouthful, and I got a couple of lines I'm gonna drop on you. But Lashid for you said, please see my Eminem video. Now a lot of people send me, not a whole lot, because I don't get the hits that people that clown and act a fool get, but or the Goofy Goober crew, or the controlled opposition crew, some of who be trying to bite me and riff just like me, stealing my riffs, like I'm Eddie Kane or something around here. Have mercy. Don't wait to put you in the blender. Make an Oreo smoothie out that food. Uncle Tommy. I don't mind you watching and getting a couple of little hints and pointers on how to have some game about yourself, but don't bite. That's not polite. She soon star. Yes, I am gonna check out what you sent me, sister, and I do appreciate your willingness to share, and I must support my sisters that drop the knowledge. Because this has been a male-dominated sport for far too long. But all of the sisters that support and that have very valuable information and wise things to add, the feminine part of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding is wisdom. And knowledge is a male thing. We know a lot of things, we're actively in pursuit of knowledge. But the mother wit, that's a female thing. And wisdom is essentially a form of that. Okay, it's knowledge applied over time, and of course the two come together and make understanding. But yes, she soon starred. It's kind of a tongue twister. Mercy. Yes, I do appreciate you, and I don't want you to get the wrong impression of me. You are very respectful, and I want to be respectful back to you. Sometimes I can be a little honorary, but don't pay me no attention. I'm from Detroit. My good sister Leah Holmes, glad to see you back. And my sister Lala, as always, homegirl always have some great nuggets to drop, some jewels. And big shout out to you, of course. Always good to read your comments, my sister. You're very informed, and it's always good, always a pleasure when God's people get together, and it's always a treat when his elite meet. Extra special thanks and shout out to True Brown from Motown for all of your love and support. I can't thank you enough. Nothing but love for you. To my good brother Neo B, a young Jedi in a place to be. Good lookout on the add-on to the build too. You gave me a couple of things that I went chasing for today. Keep in mind too, when we get off into this Jordan thing, we're going to be dealing with a corporate entity. He is more than a brand. He is an icon. And some things get scrubbed, Scrubbed meaning they remove certain information. If you have a certain amount of power and influence and importance to pop culture, not Prince Pop life, well, I guess it was too, but the pop like Lamont called Fred, the father culture. And the father, of course, of the culture is the father of lies, as Lucifer is the head of the secret societies that are not only on the rise, but have been ever plotting our demise for millennia. And so some things are harder to find than others. As I had said yesterday, I was looking for a particular piece of information about Jordan and numerology, and I found everything but that. That has been scrubbed. I know it came from the internet. Okay, things get removed. Lots of different ways they remove things. Some people, they look at my joints, and I don't mind if you look at my joints and get some points, because we all supposed to be having the same enemy. Enemy of my enemy is a friend of me. But some folks are able to put together stuff with clips and different things of that nature. But when I put some clips, I get clipped. so because I'm on my second strike, 3 strikes and I'm out, to keep from having to do all of this work over again or have it removed. And for those of you that know how to put it on iPod and put it on disc, please do that, because I may have to contact you at some point and get it from you, because that's something I don't quite know how to do. Things I don't know can fill a book. Have mercy. But yeah, so I looked around for some specific information about Jordan's connection to the prison industry, investing in private prisons. And we know that investment information is sensitive information, and it can be easily hidden. You know, I'm sure there are provisions. You know, people in the Brotherhood don't want you to know what they're investing in. So there are provisions that can easily be made by Brotherhood members for other Brotherhood members, especially if you watch Brotherhood of the Bell before you watch Brotherhood of the Ball. It'll really come together for you. You'll understand it all. Big Joe 1093, very funny comment. Did something recently happen with Eminem? Because I ain't seen the local news in a minute, but I've been getting more looks at the Eminem thing and comments based upon it. And he gave me a funny comment. And yes, it is true. And it's interesting to me how so many people, I put that extra S in interesting. It's interesting. It enters and it rests. Interesting to me how people that's not from the D could even want to challenge or speak on that. I was on the scene. I seen him with the brown hair and the brown eyes standing over in the corner looking terrorized. And matter of fact, I can get a hold to a clip. A partner of mine still got the clip of the battle that is caricatured in the 8 Mile movie, the final battle that really took him over the top, that was done in the hip hop shop. It was on 7 Mile Road. I'm from between 7 Mile and 6 Mile. I was always told, if you don't know about it, don't talk about it. Have mercy. Be about it or be without it. And to my man from the Bronx, big shout out again to all of the real people that do real things. Places like the Bronx, New Orleans, Atlanta, Chicago, LA, Baltimore, DC, and all points around, that surround, and in between. Nothing but love for y'all, and especially down south. Like I say, you know, my grandma, she was from Tennessee, and boy, oh boy, was she sharp. She was a sharp shooter, and you know, I'm trying to tell you, you know, we go other places, they say we sound country, and if I sound country, I got it honest. But big shout out to the South. Yip Dip, big shout out to you, and also to my viewers overseas, like my homegirl Ms. Mice. Big shout out to you, and thank you for your unchanging encouragement and support. And my prayers are with you for your continued favor from the Creator. And also a big shout out to my Israelite brethren that have joined visiting the temple of a true Yeshua, checking out Unplug 'em page. A big shout out to you. It was through the Israelite fam of mine, my main man DJ Los from Coast to Coast, that I was brought out of the mind control program of Nuwabu. And no diss to anybody who still can learn from Nuwabu. If you're wise, you can learn from a firm. But yes, to my ox Yashar al Shalom and Big Ak Aharon bin Yisrael. Welcome Ak Todah, and appreciate the Ahava. And yes indeed, gang recognized gang. Indeed, so we shall proceed. We'll give you what you need. Alright. So yesterday we looked at some things. Of course, we're not going to go over those same things. Just making sure I got all of that in from this page. There's a lot of stuff on this page. Okay, I need to go back to a couple of these things as we go into Jordan. But we talked about the origins. Got to know the origins of a thing. We just jump in and we start rolling with something. We're very trendy people in this country in general, but especially folks from the urban community, where oftentimes the natural mentor of the family or leader of the family, the father, has not been in his proper role, the proper way, for the proper time. And of course we know that that is also by design. So a lot of people look up to the athletes. You know, it's a way of feeling accomplishment also. You know, you're living vicariously, living through others' accomplishments. Oftentimes, you know, the morale of a city, not to mention of a household and of a family, oftentimes is directly related to how well the sports team is doing. And that sounds really goofy, but it's true. And it's the way. It's the American way. We are encouraged from the time we're very young to be that way. I remember I got a Muhammad Ali doll when I was too young to really know who Muhammad Ali was. But, you know, he was sold to us as a hero. People are put up before you as a hero, and we know hero comes from the word Heru, which is a false god of Egypt. He represents the sun in the Egyptian pantheon, the S-O-N and the S-O-N, excuse me, the S-O-N and the S-U-N, the son of Osiris and Isis, the father and mother of the Egyptian pantheon. And when you see, as I've said before, when you see Kanye talking about the new Jesus chain, he is going off of the deception that Heru is really the Messiah. And he does not understand the fallen angel dynamic, or he does understand it, and he understands it, and the spirits that's in him have him deceived. And he wants you to believe what he has believed. That is that just because something came first, that means that it was true. And that's not always the case, especially when we're talking about fallen angels who had a plan, a plot, a long-term plan. The New World Order plan is nothing but the fallen angel plot. The long-term plan that they have is based off the long-term plan that their leaders have. And their leaders, if you read their writings, if you read their materials, and you really understand what's going on, especially when you look at people like Alice Bailey, you look at Blavatsky's works, you look at Manly P. Hall's works, you look at the works of Crowley, you will find that their leaders are truly spirit beings, fallen angels, to be right and exact. Okay, so we looked at Aries, the connection between Aries, and yes, when I spelled it out yesterday, I was referring to Big Daddy Kane, R-A-W. Of course, you flip that W upside down and you have the ram. But what I didn't add yesterday, but I know I've said it in other videos, but for those of you who this might be your first one, that M and the W are both ways to represent 3 V's, which is in Hebrew, the Vav in Hebrew has the numerical value of 6. Okay? Remember, in ancient times, the letters and numbers were together. That's where you get Roman numerals looking like letters. They got that from the cultures that came before them, one of which being Hebrew. And of course, we looked at Aries being the ram, and also the god of war, and the athlete, and how all of that related. And then we looked at the propensity for NFL athletes who play a war game, are led onto the field in the college games by the fight zone. We looked at the propensity for those athletes to be charged for violent crimes, gun charges, also dope charges. You'll find a lot of stars getting tied up with dope charges, because when the Brotherhood of the Ball asks you to do what they want you to do, balling, when they ask you to do what they want you to do, there's no questions asked. And after your usefulness is through, they'll throw you up under the bus right fast. And that has happened a number of times, a number of ways. We're not going to go back over that today. However, all of that went together. The love of sport. Again, Aries representing war and love. Interesting. Again, we have the Project Janus, duality, connection. Then we went to the next page and we looked at a little bit about the reptilian brain, a couple more things to add. Gatorade. Look at the commercials. Okay, the kids dripping green sweat and whatnot. What made Gatorade the official energy drink before energy drinks? Okay, it was always told, well, it's got certain minerals and things in it to replenish the athlete. What juice does it come from? Well, it was developed, they say, at down there in a Bush state. And many of us are aware of how demonic the Bush clan is and their dedication to secret societies, generational dedication. So they have a generational or ancestral demon, a familial or familial spirit, a familiar, they call it in witchcraft. And that's a spirit that goes down to generations as they can trace their skull and bones connections back to Prescott Bush. At least that's what's publicized. And again, some things get scrubbed. So some things I'll be able to show and prove, and some things we're going to have to use discernment to get proper understanding about. Okay, so yes, Gatorade was developed down there in the Bush state and Florida. My understanding, it was first made for the University of Miami in Florida. For those players. Team has an interesting team name, does it not? And when you're talking about gators in human form, this is a direct reference to the reptilian brain and the importance of the reptilian brain overtaking the mammalian brain in order to perform properly in sports. So I maintain, and who will prove it? Some of y'all are some sharp knives in the drawer. So you might could find some connections between the ingredients in Gatorade. I didn't look that up today. Had a lot of stuff on my plate concerning this. But again, this is game. You can look up the ingredients in Gatorade, and I bet you will find something, some chemical that is supposed to enhance the reptilian brain. You know, I started to say I'll put anything on it. No, I'm gonna let my yes be my yes and my no be my no. It is what it is. That's weird. But anyway, can y'all see that? Strange light. Okay. They trying to do everything in sight. Have mercy. Loose legions of warrior angels. In the authority of the name of Jesus, I ask, and it shall be given unto me to surround me and protect me. And to keep this message from being hindered or interrupted in any way, shape, or form. And in the authority of the name of Jesus, I ask, and it is done. Okay. But yes, we looked at Florida and Gatorade yesterday, a little taste. Also, what else you find in Florida? You find the mind control center, as we were told by Dr. York, and then he ended up getting one of the 72 counts that he got. Yeah, they slapped 72 counts on him. That last count, last time I looked it up in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, and one of those counts was transporting minors across state lines, and he was taking them to Disney World. So after he told us that it was a mind control center, a place where they took children to be MK Ultrafied, he ended up getting busted taking children there himself. But see, that was part of the pimp game dynamic too that they was running with Dr. York. You know, he told people to eat feces, and there was benefit to that and all sorts of different things. And he switched a million times. And that was to see, you know, that's like a pimp, you know, if he tell you that it's raining quarters, he wants you to run outside with a change cup. Have mercy. So it was a way to see how much control he had over his quote-unquote followers. And it's to the grace and to the glory of the Most High that I came out of that unscathed. I know more than one individual who had to be institutionalized after getting down into the depths of the AMOM and different things of that nature. He had a secret society within Nuabu. And I know people whose lives have been devastated and their children are out of hand because they've been raised up on the land. Have mercy, down there in Edenton, Georgia. But yes, also NBA training camp. Last time I checked, that was in Florida. If I'm not mistaken, isn't baseball training camp? Didn't look this up, but now I'm just freestyling. We're gonna go to the paper. NBA training camp, isn't that in Florida? Seemed like I distinctly remember that the Tigers training camp is there. And we're gonna talk a little bit about the Tigers. But Disney World and Venus and Serena, but we know they come from Compton. Yeah, they come from Compton. At the same time, their parents moved them to Florida, to a special place for young gifted athletes. Okay, so Florida and mind control and gators and reptilians all have a connection that you will find no direct, you will find absolutely no direct information from any credible source, a source you'll find credible. These are some things that you got to use your game about. Got to have some game about you. All right. So yes, we talked about sports being the reptilian brain on drugs, an overload of R-type thinking, because the very best sports teams and athletes are extremely competitive. Okay, past the boundaries, that they'll go past the boundaries and surpass the thinking or the desire to win that is in us all. We all have the R-type or the reptilian part of our brain. We all have that. Okay, but Gatorade is used to juice it up, and hence the lightning bolt on the cover, symbolizing when Isaiah said, "And I saw Lucifer fall from heaven like a lightning bolt," which we're told by, I forget his name, but there's that notorious video on YouTube. I'm sure it's been discredited and people have challenged it and tried to debunk it. But my man was saying how that is a way in Hebrew to say Barack Obama. Now we know, to my Israelite brothers, I know you know too, that Barack, and that was the label that Slum Village was on, Barack Records, owned by RJ, from RJ's latest arrival, an old R&B group that was affiliated with Dr. York. And they were into esoteric teachings there at that label, and RJ was as well, and he is or was a music industry gatekeeper. And if you find information on Slum Village, the group that Jay Dilla, the world's greatest hip-hop producer, somebody's face just got tight, but no, Jay Dilla was a good brother. But he got caught up in some of the mysticism that was surrounding him and surrounding the Order of Divine Reality, which also was affiliated with Dr. York. But I got off all of that and talking about, yes, they will use the Hebrew in conjuring. When you're dealing with the Goetia, it's also called the Lesser Key of Solomon. And a lot of folks will write scrolls and whatnot on you. They call it, and Ball2 would refer to that sometime in his raps on the Slum Village Fantastic LP. He talked about, writing a scroll on you, and that's basically writing a curse, writing a spell using Hebrew. We know the Kabbalah is all about it. Okay, the Zohar. So we have to be cautious because the Israelites of old, who had the source right there with them, they was rolling with Moshe, and the real, true, and living source right there with them, rolling with them, and they still messed around and got paganized. Went to other cultures and began borrowing their things, acting like the Egyptians, who it says in scripture showed no shame. Ladies, this on the dance floor. Show no shame, show no shame. No, show some shame. Show some shame. Have some shame about yourself. Don't be fast, like the old folks used to say, fast. Don't be fast. They don't even say that no more. Everybody fast. If you ain't fast, you consider slow. Have mercy. So, and then we got here. We got to went from the reptilian brain thinking and just making you more competitive to the violent sports now coming to the forefront. Things like the UFC and the MMA remind you of old sci-fi flicks like Blade Runner and Running Man. It brings more light to the brutality of boxing, which we were told by Iron Mike, who we know they were putting on psychotropic medication. They diagnosed him so that they could do this. But Iron Mike told us all in that interview, a lot of you have seen. If not, type in Iron Mike drops knowledge in the interview or something like that. But he talked about the red and blue. Again, we're talking about the equal ends of the color spectrum. One making you hype, red supposed to make you hype, and blue is calming, soothing blue. Okay, representing the water. The fire, you yell fire in the room, you see don't everybody get hype. Representing, or being represented by the red energy. The red energy, stop. The green energy, go. You stop at that red light, you antsy, ain't you? You ready to go. But a positive and negative connotation there. Positive, go. Negative, stop. The connotation. When you see in nature animals like the bull, which we're going to look at next, seeing red, they say, and charging red. And other animals who flare up and have parts of their bodies that turn or show red in order to show danger or fear or aggression. One reason why they said that Aries was a murderess, also a coward. You know, nobody fights better than somebody that's all the way right or somebody that's all the way fright, all the way scared. You don't want to fight somebody that's too scared of you. They might do anything. Have mercy. But yes, so we're looking at the fear factor there. Fear and anger going hand in hand. The red energy, the reptilian dynamic, the reptilian brain energy, fueling the new up-and-coming, fastest rising sports on the scene. And you better believe that we will see men die watching sporting events in increased numbers in these days, the last days spoken of in 2 Timothy as we began this lesson, this message. So then we said, are only the stars of Hollywood movies, TV shows, and music MK Ultra mind-controlled slaves and not sports? He said, no, they too are performers. And again, the Sister Velma for the notation about the alpha brainwaves. The alpha male playing sports. The alpha being number 1 and Aries symbolizing number 1, the first of the signs. All of these things do indeed relate. Aries is also related to, we didn't say this yesterday, we need to say it now, the brain. That's right. Many will say, oh, well, it rules the head, it rules the top of the head. It rules the brain and the eyes. You need to have good hand-eye coordination. Okay? What an athlete you would be without good vision. Very important to have vision and proper brain function to be effective in sports or war. So yes, they too are performers. You take 1,000 free throws a night, you can miss one at will. What do you think practice is about? Practice makes perfect? No, practice makes improvement. Anything you practice long enough becomes a habit. They say you do anything for 30 days, it becomes a habit. So they have a habit. They know the plays that they're going to run, and they watch the other team's film. They watch the other team's film, we are told, so that they know their plays. No, it's a coordinated opera. In war, they call it the theater of war. Have you heard that term? That's what they talk about when they talk about warfare. They call it the theater of war. That's an official military term, the theater of war. Interesting. So if it's orchestrated war, you don't believe it's orchestrated sports? Have mercy. I don't know what to say for you. Tired of them. So yes, they too are performers, and we're going to look more at the MK Ultra dynamic and different things of that nature in depth, starting right now. We're going 35 minutes in. I was just freestyling on the old thing. Now, as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the last days. Well, in the days of Noah, you had the kings and queens of this earth who bred soldiers and gladiators for their amusement, for blood sport. First, it was for the kings and for the emperors to enjoy the blood sport and to watch men fight to the death for their amusement. Do I amuse you? Then their advisors and their counselors got the bright idea to say, well, you know, this is something that if we show this to the people, we can feed them the demon of anger, of frustration, of ecstasy, being ecstatic at will. You can punch the buttons of the people based on what's happening, what's occurring in sports. I remember when people didn't get too excited when their team wasn't in the playoffs or the finals. It's no longer that way. They have made icons and idols of the sports stars so effectively that regardless of where they're from or what state or city they represent, it is your favorite pastime to watch their achievements and give them accolades and live vicariously through their accomplishments, while you accomplish nothing but gaining weight, eating Cheetos and dip. Dip, baby, dip. Eating chips and dip, sitting on the couch while your wife is trying to walk around in her best lingerie and you ain't paying her no attention. Have mercy. Because the game is on. Lovers, men will become lovers of themselves. Can't get you to watch a female sport. Now, when Serena was playing, I did watch. And yeah, we're going to talk on that because I'm going to tell you. Now, I believe there's some lady boys out here and some boy ladies. Have mercy. But that's a woman. But she has been enhanced. And as we go off into Michael Jordan, we're going to talk about the mind control and the enhancements. And yes, the Air, I didn't say this yesterday, on the Air Jordan 13, the 11 was the breads, right? The bread, the being bred. A clone being bred. 11 is the clones or the twins, making another you, duality, a double U. A W. How many W's can you rack up? But yes, the Air Jordan 13s, according to the official site www.flightclub.com/AirJordans/Air Jordan-13. From that site, we found it says Michael Jordan's reputation. This was official propaganda from the site. Michael Jordan's reputation for cat-like reflexes on the court. Inspired designer, check his name. Inspired designer, Tinker, like Tinker Bell. Again, we have MK Ultra programming implied in the Disney Tinker Bell. Look it up. A huge part of it. Okay, the Tinker Bell. Again, bell and ball relationship. The bell to ring the bell in boxing. To snap them out of it. You notice how they snap out of it? They drop their gloves immediately. You ever seen anybody fight like that? You can say that's discipline. Mama and grandmama and everybody can be out there trying to get you to stop fighting. You ain't gonna pay no attention. You be dragging auntie down the street trying to get at somebody. Have mercy. Some of y'all ain't never tried to break a fight up. You never tried to start one neither. I bet. I'm throw rice at a wedding. But yes, Tinker Bell, we're going to call him, but Tinker Hatfield said, Michael Jordan's reputation for cat-like reflexes on the court inspired designer Tinker Hatfield. Tinker Bell Hatfield. The Hatfield. What's the Hatfield? Up here. This is the field for the hat. I ain't supposed to see that. Tinker Hatfield, to unleash the spirit of a panther for the Air Jordan 13. Direct quote from the website promoting the shoe. Is it in you? Okay. On Valentine's Day 1990, Jordan's jersey was stolen, they say. And Valentine's Day, we know, is also a witch's holiday, an occult holiday. All of the holidays celebrated in this land you can trace to occult and pagan origins, because it was a land based on 13 colonies and Masons whose belief system, the God that they believed in, one nation was going to be under. One nation under a groove for the one which we believe in. The God that they believed that this nation was going to be under was Lucifer and his pantheon of pagan gods, all representing various demons. Different cultures had different names for different demons. And so, of course, they would say the spirit of a panther for the Air Jordan 13. And we know the Most High made all of the numbers. He made all of the stars. He made everything. But there is an occult meaning for everything. Scripture tells us that the devil is the prince of this world and the god of this age. The god of the age. Okay? So therefore, he is allowed to twist, to turn, to skew different things in the natural realm. Okay? He cannot have entryway into your spirit realm unless you allow him across your threshold, like the vampire analogy. Vampires are nothing but an analogy for demons or devils. Dracula being the chief. If you remember some of the movies, it'd be Dracula, then you have peon vampires rolling with him. Time to look at Vampire in Brooklyn again. And yes, Nick Ashford looked like a vampire in Brooklyn, didn't he? Ashford and Simpson's song, It Seems to Hang On. Listen to it. Check it out. Tell me what the it in the song is. That's the songwriter's secret for those of you who have not checked out the songwriter's secret video. But let's get into this. Okay, on Valentine's Day 1990, Jordan's jersey was stolen and he wore number 12. And again, there is occult significance to the number 12. 12 is the top of the hour. It's the top of the clock. Hour, Heru. But yes, the top of the clock is 12. And it also is significant to the elite as saying 12 or midnight. That's a high time for witches' prayers. We're told that the witching hour is 3 p.m. to mock the supposed time that the Messiah was executed. However, we know that midnight is close to midnight. Something evil's lurking in the dark. They get started a little bit before midnight. I know this to be true. It's absolutely true. And at midnight, they really get to going feverishly with their prayers to their God and their curses against the people of God. So if you know someone who's really in a form of bondage, you need to get up at night and pray for them. Someone needs to be on the night watch. Didn't the Messiah admonish them for not being able to stay up and pray with him? Okay? Somebody got to be on night watch. They always on night watch. Or you on this bay watch. Number 12 represents the end or the beginning. It's the end of one day and the beginning of a new day. That's why they like 12 for that one reason, and then there's another. They like 12. It ends the old world order and begins the new world order. Also, you have the 9/11 dynamic. 9 representing man, they say. There's an upside down 6. Okay, the 6-pointed star having the appendage at the bottom representing the phallus. Okay, it's called a hexagram. Not the Star of David, the Rothschilds, which means red shield, adopted it as their red shield. Okay. But 9 representing man. 10, which is the 10th letter of Hebrew, is the Yod, which is where you get the divine letter Y, the question that a child can ask infinitely. If you want answers, ask questions. So the key to things is why. You don't ask. You have not because ye ask not. I said ask. You have not because you ask not. But yeah, and 11 representing the wizardry of duality. Okay. Then they want to take 12 to represent a step above the wizard. A step above the wizard is the one that gives the wizard the powers. So that is to represent that. Okay. Lucifer, he likes 12 and 13. 12 plus 1. 12 disciples plus the 1, Jesus. Okay. The 12 signs of the zodiac. Again, these things that were done before time, before the Messiah's time and the disciples, they will tell the Masons, and they're telling some of you by way of New Age, that because these things came first, it's because it was the truth. What's the origin and source of that information? Who gave these things to mankind first? Oops, the fallen angels. Have mercy. Gotcha. So the fallen angels gave the lie to mankind that would plant his mind against the Messiah to come. Don't play with me. Super heavyweight jam. So, and he played again against the Orlando Magic. Look at their symbols, full of pentagrams. And again, the magic of Disney World, all connected. Orlando, Florida, where the mind control training center that is Disney World is located. Okay. NBA rookie training held in Orlando. I said that right already. Okay, Michael Jordan, we looked at his birthday. I was looking for, this is just going to be some general Jordan trivia, then we're going to go down through it. Born 2/17 and 63, 1 and 9, the Alpha and the Omega. What Alpha and what Omega? 1 and 9, the first number, 9, the last number. Every other number after 9 is nothing but a combination of 2 of the other numbers. 1 and 0, 1 and 1, 1 and 2, 1 and 3, and so on. So 19 is a big number to them. If you recall, Dr. York said he came from the 19th galaxy of Ilion, from planet Risk. Oh, I was a game goofy goober. No, I wasn't, because I'm going to tell you, I didn't believe everything he said. I don't believe everything nobody say. I don't believe everything my mama say. Have mercy. I have issues in my tissues. But I was always on the lookout for the twist, because I first found the twist when I went looking around in the very beginning, when I joined my first belief system. I found the twist real fast. I was going to go pass out some final calls, and I asked a brother about women or something to that effect, and he was an elder brother with white hair, and what he told me, I can't even remember to repeat it, but I just remember it had my expectations deleted and depleted after that. He said something so misogynistic concerning women and so minimizing about them. I knew something wasn't right. So now I thought this was supposed to be the truth and the light. Have mercy. But we're going to look at the Jesuit connection to that as we get off into, we will indeed get off into Muhammad Ali as well. Let's check it out. 11 seasons. He played 11 seasons. 11, of course, we know the big deal with 11. We've talked about that many times. 11 for the duality, the number of wizardry. And he left, and he played for the Wizards too, didn't he? For his last season, did he not? Can't make this stuff up. Now, I'm only 6'1", and I wear a size 13. They said he was 6'6", size 13 and 6 rings. He pledged Omega, which was the last. Omega means the last. Omega Psi Phi, the Q-Dogs, as you call them. A secret society, part of the Boule. And that is the Black Illuminati connection. So he has the proper connections to get certain information scrubbed. Believe it. Then there's the iconic picture with all rings on his left hand, symbolizing the left-hand path. You go further if you go the left-hand path. I believe for some time Nas was in it, but he was going the right-hand path. And so he would put out different positive things, and they only let you go so far. For the very competitive, for those whose reptilian brain is working on overtime, there is the left-hand path, where you can get all you can have, all you want to have. Okay? And that symbol, you know, where he's doing that, like we've also seen Brother Malcolm do in the pictures. Now, the old guys that got into, you know, I'm not going to make no excuses for nobody. It's not my job. But the old school that got into masonry, they had more of an excuse, if you can have one at all. The information wasn't out there like it is today, like it has been for some years. Okay, the only way you knew what they was into was by getting in it at one time. And I believe that was the real reason that Malcolm made his turnaround. Okay? And when you watch the movies on different people's lives, like the Muhammad Ali movie, okay, the Malcolm movie, you will find them allude to that moment when they become a Brotherhood member. You find this, you know, I've found this every time I've looked at a movie based on somebody's life. They show you that moment because that's for the elite, to show the other elite. Some of the things in the movie we know are straight up ritual, mind control programming actually being done live on film. You see them crying and doing amazing things on film, doing their own stunts and whatnot, different things like that. Okay, but also they will also show you on film for the other Brotherhood members to see, so that when you're a game goofy goober sitting in the theater looking up there, you know, new and low in degrees, that's to encourage you that if you want to be a great man, see, all the greats have done it. So here's a little code in the movie to show you that this great person too belonged to the hookup. And you'll find that in every movie based on somebody's life, and most documentaries. Okay? So yes, you see the iconic pic with all 6 rings on his left hand, symbolizing the left-hand path and showing the degree. We learned that this was showing your degrees. This was where to show your degrees. Malcolm would sit and do it all throughout the interview. Show your degrees. They say 3rd degree make you a master. 33 degrees brings you the light. We talked about 32 and 33 yesterday. Excuse me, on part 1. To those of you who might be watching this months from now or whatever, if I'm still on here. His father was killed after having been missing for 3 weeks, and the family hadn't filed a missing person report. He was found in a South Carolina creek. Jordan is supposed to be from North Carolina, right? Well, he went to North Carolina. He's from, yeah, right. Charlotte Bobcats, right? Okay. family didn't file no missing person report. We're going to learn more about his family too as we go on. Okay. They say that, well, his father was last seen on July 7, 22. The cusp of Leo, high energy, time for distraction in North Carolina. So they took him from one state to another state. Police recovered the father's red Lexus 400 on 8/5, August the 5th. All of these things were happening during Leo. And again, we found that there was a pagan holiday. Well, slow down. But he was found dead in the creek on August the 3rd, 1993. They recovered the Lexus 2 days later. Interesting. August the 3rd, 8 plus 3. We have 11 again, the duality. Okay. And 9 plus 3 is 12. 8, 11, 93. 8 plus 11 is 11. Excuse me, 8 plus 3 is 11. I don't want to confuse you, we're talking math. 8 plus 3 is 11. 8, 3, 93. And 9 plus 3 is 12. What's 11 plus 12? What's 11 plus 12? And of course, the police recovered the red Lexus on 8/5, which is 13. Red Lexus too. We can't even be sure, because see, the news media be in on the whole thing. They're in on the ritual sacrifice too, or the boss members, not all the peons that work there and push papers and all that type of stuff. No, we're talking about the boss dogs. They're in on it too. So they could lie and report red Lexus because of the meaning of that. Well, we know Lex means law. And us for Osiris, the law of Osiris, which was about sacrifice. Have mercy. 400. Well, we know 4 is half of 8. And Obeezy said that was his favorite number, was 4. Okay? The occult symbolism of the number 4. Dead in your face. He was last seen on July 22nd, the cusp of Leo. Okay, now interesting, I found that the pagan holiday of Lunasa, okay, spelled, of course, the old Gaelic way with a whole bunch of confusing letters. This is where you get the term, it's all Greek to me. The civilizations and cultures that did not write for a long time until they were taught how to write by the civilizations and cultures that did write, they spelled things awful weird. And of course, there's a direct correlation between their inability to understand concepts that come from other cultures readily. And it also comes from their being new to writing. The ancient languages were comprised of simple syllables. And you think that because that's simple, that's not as correct, or that's more primitive or whatever. When it comes to those things, writing and whatnot, the further back you go, the more sense the words make. Less extra letters. Look at the extra letters in the English language. Words like rough. Excuse me. A telephone. You go to some places and they spell telephone like it looked like it ought to be spelled. Telefono with an F. Okay, but you have the extra letters and whatnot. That's part of confusion. Part of being confused when you're writing, which leads to confusion when you're understanding. You should be overstanding. You are. But the pagan holiday Lu, pronounced like Hugh, L-U-G-H, Nasa. I'll show you. These notes are a little small, so in order for me to read them, I need to keep them next to me. Let's find it. Lu Nasa. There it is. The pagan holiday Lu Nasa. or spelled Lu-Nasa. You see it? I know you see it. Lu-Nasa was named after the god Lu, a Gaelic god that's of Irish or Scottish origin, like a Celtic. Okay, named after the Gaelic god Lu, pronounced like you. And this holiday or this festival is originally held between July 31st and August the 1st, approximately halfway between the summer solstice and the autumn equinox. So the father's body was found 2 days after the end of that festival. What a coincidence. What a coinky dink. And guess what? Guess something about Lu-Nasa. Lu-Nasa involved religious ceremonies, ritual athletic contests. Thought I was stretching now, didn't you? A pagan ceremony. It involved ritual athletic contests, feasting, matchmaking, and trading, and the offering of first fruits and sacrifice of a bull. It is one of four. Again, at number 4, like the 400, the Lexus 400. It is one of 4 Gaelic seasonal festivals. Lu-Nasa involved religious ceremonies, ritual athletic contests, feasting, matchmaking, and trading, and the offering of first fruits to the god Lu, Cypher, and sacrifice of a bull. I am the bull god, a Kid Rock song played on what? NBA Live or 2K or one of them. Yes, indeedy. Ritual athletic contests. Can't make it up. Then there was the book, Michael and Me, Our Gambling Addiction, My Cry for Help. A book released by San Diego, and there's a lot of occult connections to San Diego. Okay, most of the time you find San or Santa, they're talking about a saint. And the saints in the Catholic religion are all related to the same thing that you find in other pagan religions. The false gods and goddesses that are really demon spirits and fallen angels. Can't make it up. But there's a heavy satanic presence in San Diego. But let me look at something right quick. The number 4 and San Diego, real quick for you. I just wanted to get that because it's escaping me now. Now I know that they hold the Bohemian Grove thing. I believe that's in San Francisco. But let's just look real quick. San Diego occult. I'll continue to read. It was released by San Diego businessman, the book about Michael and his gambling addiction. You say, well, what's wrong with gambling? Is a spirit. Okay? I don't play lottery. I don't play no games. You play with money, you got something serious going on. Money too hard to come by to play about. So, oh, you just ain't got it like that. Damn Skippy. And I hope I never have it like that. San Diego Magic, Occult, and Pagan News. Let's see. Let me just find something juicy right quick. Okay. San Diego 11th Annual Pagan Pride Festival in beautiful Balboa Park. Ball and the snake, boa. Rocky, ball, boa. More sports for you. Reviews on metaphysical stores in San Diego. So there's a heavy pagan presence in San Diego. Somebody can bring that. Is that where the Church of Satan was founded? Lord have mercy. Did I get that? Maybe I've forgotten that. But yes, he released the book. He claimed that Michael owed him $1.25 million in golf debts. Of course, Michael's father came out and said that it was not true. He said the only problem that my son has is he's a little too competitive. I'm just trying to find the Church of Satan where it was founded in. Okay, let's keep reading. Sorry about that. But that book was released by San Diego businessman Richard Esquinas. $1.25 million in golf debts. 1 plus 2 is 3 plus 5 is 8. And of course we know that 8 is the number associated to Jupiter. And Jupiter in astrology is for gain. To have things. It's the biggest. So to make yourself the biggest something. Or to be the biggest. Okay? It's a big planet. It's supposed to be gaseous too. Again, we're talking about people that use spirits to make themselves the biggest, and they believe that they'll last forever. The fools of them, that is, because the wise Luciferian, and I said that because I have read that before. They know and they believe that they're gonna lose in the end. Okay. And interesting. But yes, the 8, we'll find more of that too as we go on, as we proceed and continue with the venue. Be like Mike. Is it in you? Okay. It was established at the Black House in San Francisco, California. San Francisco, San Diego, right near one another, if I'm not mistaken. But wasn't Three's Company, wasn't that set in San Diego? So, and you have Jack and the 2 witches. Oh boy. We don't need to stretch. Let's stick to the script. So yes, be like Mike. Paganism, idolatry, being like someone else, also cloning. Excuse me, they made a lot of clones of us. I was standing in the backyard and I didn't have to dribble. I had a decent game. My game was more of a forwards game. I wasn't the crossover artist like some of you may be. Okay? Interesting. Crossover. Interesting. But yes, the idolatry of it all, the wanting to be someone else, Project Janus, making many versions of him, which is part of the reptilian agenda, as he was pumped up and souped up like Serena got souped up. Remember the old pictures in Ebony and Jet magazine? Because I used to always like her when she looked at womanish and feminine. But they souped her up. They souped up Mike, and they souped him up with the reptilian genetics. And then they wanted you to be like him, because they want all of us. They want a world where they have successfully, like the Borg in Star Trek, created assimilation for us all. Where we've all assimilated. We all become as they are. Hive-minded, like we're always told that the reptilians are. But demons are hive-minded, and it's a form of demon, a demonic being. Believe it. So yes, to be like him, and is it in you? Is what in you? Not Gatorade. Is that reptilian in you? And Nike. a consort of Athena. The red and black are the first J's. Just do it. Being a form of, you just do you and I'm going to do me. What's that a form of, y'all? That's the Crowleyan satanic golden rule. Okay? Crowley's little motto that, of course, you know, he didn't create his information. He was getting information fed to him, okay, by higher sources and lower sources too. But that's the motto: do as thou wilt, stylized for Nike. Just do it. Don't play. Just do it is man, do as thou wilt. So is do what you like. So is I'ma do me, you do you. Do as you will. That means don't have no law, no governing. Do what you want to do. Lawlessness and anarchy. Like the Chris Angel unfinished pentagram on his chain, also the symbol for anarchy. The same symbol. That's right. We jamming. We jamming. Okay. The Bull God, Michael Jordan. The Ball God. The sacrificial bull with blood-tipped horns. Number 23, which is 2 times 3, which is 6. Interesting. 2 divided by 3, or 3 going into 2. You know what you get? Do it on the calculator. You got a calculator on that super duper phone of yours. Not 2 into 3. Because 2 goes into 3 1.5 times. 1.5. You add the 1 and the 5, that's 6. 2 times 3 is 6. And 3 goes into 2.66. Can't make this stuff up. So the mystical number 23. I know you've seen the movie, right? That was the movie? The Jim Carrey movie? The triangle offense. The triangle is a pyramid. A pyramid was a place not to bury pharaohs, but a place to do ritual. What type of ritual? Magic ritual. Egyptian magic is the belief system, not the Ma'at. No. Whoever is telling you that is deceiving you. Because as you get more in touch with Ra, or Osir, or Osset, you will be calling and conjuring the spirits that exist, that they call gods back in those times, and it will be in you. We have to ask, is it in you? What's gotten into you? Ra, the old school rappers. Beat Street, breakdown, Ra. That's for you, Lala. Have mercy. But yes, he had 2 3-peats. 3 plus 3. Even 3 times 3. It's upside down 6. He wore the upside down 6 as number 45. Again, numerology is you break it down to a single number. 4 plus 5, 9. 9 is an inverted 6. Have mercy. Phil Jackson, the handler. Okay. And the triangle offense that he coached. Okay. He was born in Deer Lodge, Montana. And when you see Lodge, better believe that there's a Masonic connection in that city, just like you have the Elk Lodge. Don't play. The Brotherhood of the Elk. Malcolm named the elk when he was doing his speech that they portrayed in the Malcolm X movie done by Boule member, frat man, Spike Lee. Deer Lodge, Montana, and he was born, Phil Jackson was born Phil, which means love, from Phyla, like pedophile, the one who loves the one who loves children. Okay. Philadelphia, city of brotherly love. Okay. The beginning part be at the end, because we write backward now. But Phil, his parents were Mennonites. Now, when I was getting acquainted with the beliefs of the Amish, I learned of the Mennonites. Didn't know much about them, but it's a branch of Amish, a branch off thing, like you had Clarence 13X branch off from Elijah Muhammad and create the nation of gods and earths, the 5% nation. Well, Mennonites is a similar dynamic. They were once Amish, and they branched off, changed some of their beliefs, but very strict. So he was born to very strict parents. I believe I read that he didn't see his first movie until he was a grown man, because, you know, they're not allowed to see movies and TV and different things of that nature. Extreme. Okay, you don't eat extreme, you'll die. Okay, you go too far to that end, you'll die. Don't eat nothing and watch what happens to you. Eat too much, you got a weight problem, can't wait to eat. Eat too much, you'll die. Those extremes. And the elite push extremes. Aldous Huxley pushing one extreme. Give them everything. Let it choke them to death. Let them drown themselves into decadence and destroy themselves that way. And then you got the Orwellian style. Don't give them nothing. Lock them down. Put them on lockdown. Cuff them all. Cuff them all for real. But yes, the triangle offense of the pyramid and the jump man, the Michael Jordan jump man atop the block letter 23 is a pyramid. And yes, we knew that Phil Jackson had alternative spiritual beliefs. A little visual aid. That's my poorly drawn jump man. But you see the pyramid symbolism even in the jump man. There it is for you. Atop the 23, which we already showed and proved was 6 a number of ways. That's the mystic property of 23. That is 6 all kind of ways. Come on. You want to jam? He's 6'6", 6 rings, 11 seasons, size 13. Now we know that Phil had alternative spiritual beliefs. They used to talk about his Zen and different things of that nature. And what is Zen? Do I have to write it down for you? No, y'all sharp. You already feel it. Let's look at the word. They always will talk about the Zen. And some of you say you're looking for some Zen. Vowels are interchangeable. And S is a backwards Z, like W is an upside down M, and vice versa. And made of 3s. Z is made of 2 7s on top of that. 1 7 laying down that way, and the other 7 upside down this way. That's what make a Z, 2 7s. Remove the space between the 2 7s. Got one upside down and inverted. And you make a Z. But let's look at Zen. Called in the Old Testament the wilderness of Zen in some places. And in other places it's called the wilderness of sin. Because Zen and sin is the same words. Sorry, Buddhists. Santa, San, San Diego. Sun, sun worship, sin worship. Don't play. All right. Was Mike a believer? Ever hear him win and give thanks? See, that's why it's important to use the name, whether you want to use Yahshua, Yeshua, which is really, he said, I am in my Father is in me. The name would be in there, wouldn't it? Or Jesus, which I found repels demons. So I'm not finna throw that down, because I do not believe everything that these devils say in their books. It's in their books. Everything we getting, they printing. They say, and of course they have a hatred because they're filled with demons. They have a hatred for the Messiah. Okay? So, did you ever hear him use either term, the Hebrew, or what's supposed to be the Greek version? And don't tell me when the J came or the I came, because again, where you get it from? You got it from books, you got it from Scholastica, you got it from academia. Okay? You got it from collegiate sources, universities. Universities and colleges are run by fraternities. Those are fraternal orders, brotherhoods, and their job, they have a job. It's called a secret society because they keep secrets from you and I. Okay, Jerry Buss. Oh, okay. Wait a minute, one thing at a time. Okay, was Mike a believer? Or did he ascribe to self-deification as all his publicity suggests? MK Ultra and porn star affair. Oh, okay. We're going to get into that. Did he ascribe to self-deification as all his publicity suggests? All of his publicity makes him the God. He gets the worship. Do you understand? Okay. He was worshipped. Okay. It's got to be difficult for you to worship or bow down to something higher than you when everybody's giving you praise like you the God. And in the Boule, we know they teach them the same thing that some of the guys on earth say. In a different way. They taught us the same thing in Nuwabu, in a different way. Make ourselves as the gods. So many different ways to say it. But at the end of the day, it's the same old Luciferian lie, the same old Luciferian deception. Okay? That's why that old bald-headed man came out there and said, I'm a Lucifer. You're a Lucifer too. I'm a pepper, you're a pepper. Wouldn't you like to be a pepper too? Remember that? Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Heart Club's band, Sergeant Pepper, was symbolic of, they'll say Aleister Crowley, but it had to do with the black. Representing evil. Representing the devil. Whose colors, the colors of the black satanic mask, red, white, and black. We're going to get on that page in a second. Jerry Buss's daughter. Now, why are we looking at his daughter? Because again, if there's MK Ultra, there's MK Ultra signs around. Some things about the corporation or the corporate entity, corporate controlled entity that is Michael Jordan are hard to find and will not be found. But we'll find something if we look around, look around. Jerry Buss's daughter, Genie, as in Jinn, which is where you get the word genie. Okay, it's a feminized way of saying jinn. And we know jinn is the Arabic word for demon. Jerry Buss's daughter, and when you're mind controlled, you are possessed. It's the same thing. But Jerry Buss's daughter, Jeannie Buss, did a Playboy shoot. We know about the Playboy bunny and the bunny programming. Okay, we're gonna look at that too. The bunny aspect of things. I know some of y'all is already there. Okay, remember the white rabbit, follow the white rabbit. That's how Neo got into his thing, didn't he? He followed the white rabbit and he ended up down the rabbit hole. Okay, the symbolism of Alice in Wonderland. Okay, you're wondering and wandering. Wonder and wander, same word. Your mind is wandering, then you're wondering. But yes, Jeannie Buss, Jerry Buss, who was the owner of the Bulls, his daughter, Jeannie Buss, did a Playboy shoot. One of the pictures, two basketballs where her basketball should be. holding them where her breast would be. And she had a Parent MK programming. I seen her in the black and white dress and different pictures and with the little Toto dog. Again, Wizard of Oz. Also heavy in mind control programming. Wizard of Oz symbology. Very big part of mind control programming. And then of course we saw Jerry Buss's pics with young chicks. Porn stars are also involved. This is where you get the celebs like Tiger Woods and Michael Jordan getting tied in with porn stars. Also too, certain sexual practices. You need a woman who is basically a whore, who can be paid to get laid, who do something strange for some change. Okay? You make a holler for $1. And so porn stars are the whores for the elite. They get paid to have sex. And any type of sex. Fetish films, you know. I was in a suburban area. I ain't gonna put it on blast like that, but I was in the suburbs. And right out there in full display, when you walk in to go get you some juice. I don't mean behind nothing or nothing. But right there in full display was the porn rack. Like it was some cereal on the rack. I mean right there, not in the back. And, you know, I'm an inquiring mind. So first of all, it stopped me one time. Because I'm like, man, so kids come in here and everything. You know, I'm looking at the owner. He's obviously not a native citizen, you know, by his dialect and whatnot and appearance. And I only say that because sometimes when you come from other communities, you cannot transfer the same care there like you would have among your own community, you know, in your own area and community where maybe you'd be shamed because your people will see it. Okay? But yes, the films were by and large freak films. They wasn't like regular straight up and down, male on female sex. They had all kind of funny flicks in the front, she-males and fetishes, feet fetishes and all kind of stuff. I said, have mercy. But anyhow, that shows and proves. See, some of you may watch straight porn and you just like to look at Pinky and Cherokee. I did. Tell the truth, shame the devil. And then the bet of the Pornay demon, because porn is named after a demon called Pornay, P-O-R-N-A-Y. Same place you get fornicate from. F was P. Get your old copy of the Constitution. I had a chance to go to Philadelphia. They had a little store there, you know, in the little area where all of the forefathers' Masonic activities was going on, and they had your little copy of the Constitution you could buy. I bought one. I said maybe I should have one. This was many, many years ago. Unrolled it, looked at it. Everywhere it was a P, it was a F, or vice versa. But F and P, even if you notice the way that they're written, you just add the little appendage to the front of the F and you get a P. Close the gap in between the two bars at the top of the F. Close the gap with a vertical line and you get a P. I don't have to draw that. But anyway, this is where you get the play on the word Californication or California is not so clever after all, now is it? And yes, I got one on California. I've got a backlog. I've got so many just lined up on deck. I try to do them as the Holy Spirit leads me and as need be. You know, things that's relevant. And as I get requests too. When I get requests, and if I get enough of a particular type of request, that's what brought you sports. that's the one I tend to say, okay, well, let me go ahead and get this one ready for dropping on the people. So yes, you have this intimate connection between the porn stars and MK Ultra, and between sports stars as well. And we'll touch on that a little bit more. Her name was Katie Ireland. She did an interview on, excuse me, Kylie Ireland. Excuse me, Katie Ireland. That's the other one, I think. Sports Illustrated, I think. But Kylie Ireland, stripper turned porn star, had an affair with Michael Jordan, by her account. Of course, Mike denies all bad publicity, like his father, the devil, the liar. Also, like father, like son, you have Michael's son, Marcus Jordan, tweets Rachel Rocks, that's ROXXX, another porn star, in 2012. Now, the interview with the one that Jordan had an affair with can be found on sportsfandom.blogspot.com. That's fandom like wisdom. Sportsfandom. Sportsfandom. SPORTSFANDOM, all one word. And if you type in Michael Jordan wows, WOWS, Michael Jordan wows porn star in bed. The movie, she made a movie based on her experience called Face Jam. MK Ultra programming. That's not just a funny play on the title. When you see people do in porn that practice of taking a title from a real movie and turning it around, first of all, Hollywood don't play that. That is showing you the direct connection between Hollywood, MK Ultra, and the porn industry in MK Ultra. And they're not going to step on each other's toes. Okay? But Face Jam, we're going to look at Space Jam too. The rabbit programming. She gave an interview on Live 105.3. She said she met him while they was in town playing the Nuggets. Last time I checked, it's the Denver Nuggets, right? What about Denver? What about Denver Space and Mind Control? Mork from Ork. Robin Williams is out of his rabbit mind, ain't he? And Robin Williams played Mork from Ork. And the Denver airport, which is shaped like a Nazi swastika, which is also what the wizard symbol is shaped like. You can't make these connections up. The Denver airport is well known for its Illuminati mind control paintings and symbolism inside of the airports. And they say weird things go on beneath the airport. We're not at this page yet, but do you see the similarity there? That's the Wizards, the Washington. Wasn't they blatant with that? They was bold with that, wasn't they? How many Masons is in Washington? How many secret society members is in Washington? The Washington Wizards and the swastika symbol, which is another symbol used in mind control. I don't care what they tell you about. Oh, it's an ancient Indian symbol for good, for peace, for equality. It's for duality. And duality is key in mind control. Duality. It's the same thing. Like 11 for duality. Key in mind control. The same symbol. Okay? A twin symbol. A Gemini symbol. Gemini, we went all through Gemini. Related it to Jen and Jeannie and Janice. I've done it a number of times. So yes, and we have Jerry Buss in cash pictures with young girls and ogling young fans as they being brought to him for him to sign an autograph. Who wants Jerry Buss's autograph? But all that says is, like the rest of the elite, like Sterling, who got caught with his ladyboy fetish, okay, it's not uncommon that the athletes kick it with the porn stars who are also under mind control as they are. Have mercy. Rappers do too. Coaches as handlers. Many didn't play or play well. I look at the Van Gundy brothers. They're a wonder to me. He don't look like he could dribble good, and you know, unless you're talking about dribbling down his shirt. But both of the Van Gundys are they excellent programmers and handlers. To be a good handler is a valuable thing among the industry that is sports. To keep these wild, reptilian brained up, souped up, steroided up athletes under control. It takes a certain type of mind. Okay, that's why they have so many different coaches. So you got the coach that's the handler, then you got the offensive coach, you got the defensive coach. Do you understand? Because them dudes play ball. The handler just understands and overstands mind control. Have mercy. We jamming a little taste. I know it's getting long, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. Now, I also looked at Dean Edward Smith as another potential handler. He went to 11 Final Fours, and that was Mike's coach, who he gave much respect to all the time, lots of accolades, which is the classic way that a MK Ultra slave reveres and is taught and programmed to revere their programmer. Classic. The same way that young athletes are taught to revere their coaches. Okay. North Carolina. Now we're going to look at a few connections between sports and the military as well. North Carolina. I thought that was gay. Let the ladies take off their... Forgive me, Lord have mercy. No one should do that. But certainly not no hairy dude. Take your shirt off. Turn it around your head like a helicopter. Every time I've seen that, I have seen that on TV when you show some drunk girl in a bar. Have mercy. Can't talk to you right now, my brother. Okay? Okay, 4, representing the greatest miracle, a God after another manner, a manifold divinity, the fountain of nature. Okay, it's supposed to be a holy and deistic number. Okay, 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1 equals 10. 10 for the God number. Okay. Just had to look it up. So, but yeah, okay. So the sports and entertainment connection to the military. MK Ultra is a military application. Okay. They especially want to have us all under mind control, true. But the exceptional members of society, people who are extra big, because you have the Nephilim dynamic, the giants in those days. Okay? Playing sports, generally, when you're tall, you are convinced by society. I don't care if you like to write. What if you like to write? What if you love carpentry? What if you love to cook? People will try to emasculate you and pin womanishness on you if you're tall or especially big or naturally strong and don't go to sports. Or secondarily, the military. There's a connection. That's why they have a team. Why would they have a team? All the government agencies, they have a team because of the intimate connection between athletes, Athena, and war. The princess or goddess of war. Athletes are named for that. Have mercy. So we look at North Carolina, where you find Fort Bragg. Athletes love to brag. And it's a special ops training center. Shaq has a military connection, does he not? I believe his stepdad. Well, he had law enforcement and military intimately connected, right? People often will come out of the military, get a job in law enforcement. Okay. Shaq has aspirations of being the Hook. You want to be the Popo. Have mercy. Well, did you know that Elvis was at one time the nation's top sharpshooter? How did they even find this out from Elvis? Again, in the training that they give them. They give them certain training on movies. You wouldn't want to see Keanu Reeves around the time he was playing Neo. I bet you money. Gentleman's bet. But no, better believe that when they trained, what's his name? It's on the tip of my tongue. The guy that played Obi-Wan Kenobi. When they trained him and Hayden Christensen together, they showed them, because I had bought the last one. I thought it was so cold. I had bought the DVD. And of course they have the extra features on the DVD, and they showed him and Ewan McGregor, I believe is his name. The guy that played Obi-Wan. They showed them, and he also played in Men Who Stare at Goats, about government abilities, a government program to use people with certain abilities as weapons. Okay? You better believe that if an athlete is doing too well, or if his genetics are lined up a particular way, or if he takes to the juicing a particular way, they figure he'll make a great warrior. And you can't tell me that they don't do side missions sometimes. Have mercy. You're seeing super soldiers with basketballs and baseball bats, and on the field, on the field, for real, believe it. So when they show them commercials, like Michael Vick throwing that impossible pass, or the one with LeBron throwing the impossible shot, people say, oh, that's done with trick photography. Yeah, they tell us that. Magic is involved. Okay? The magic of chemical magic, or a form of alchemy, turning man into God. Okay? There's an esoteric meaning and an exoteric meaning. An exo is outside. The outside meaning is turning base metals to gold. The esoteric meaning is turning man to God. So you better believe they take their alchemy to the athletes as well as on the theater of war. Not to mention, you're talking about MK Ultra, which is mind control, and mind control is possession. So they have demon spirits in them, and they're being juiced up with steroids and other experimental things to not only build muscle, to assist you to jump, to make you faster, to make your reaction time faster, make your hand-eye coordination better, to increase your size and strength, and make you more vicious. We know they do these things. The military and the athlete, the military and the athletic world are trading back and forth. They're trading back and forth. They're trading secrets and technologies back and forth. Back and forth, like Cameo said. And yes, look at the video for that. You'll find the same duality we talk about all of the time, the black and white chessboard dynamic. You'll find the tranny thing even in that. And if you look at was it Shake Your Pants, I believe it was? Or was it I Just Want to Be What You Want Me to Be? They looking awful gay in pink hot suits. I think that's what they used to call them. One piece, looked like a leotard. Cameo, that's right, one of their first videos. I believe it was I Just Want to Be. I'm almost sure it's I Just Want to Be. I Just Want to Be. Another form of Man Do As Thou Wilt. But yeah, look it back and forth, the video again. Some of y'all like the songwriter secret stuff, so I keep hitting you with rough LPs day after day after day. You're smacked in the face by the bass of Cool J, and Cool J also fits this bill. You know, I don't believe it. You know, lots of different stories can be made, lots of different movies can be made, but they keep putting certain people in cop roles. People have a connection to being a hero by way of being a cop, or by way of playing somebody in the military. Jesse Ventura did it. Ice-T does it now. He was the killer cop. Now he plays a cop, or played a cop on Law and Order, which is programming to get us all used to the law doing whatever they got to do to get the bad guy, which is me and you, according to the New World Order. Have mercy. Yeah, Ice-T, he came from out of the military, straight into the world of rap. And he tell us he was playing and pimping and hustling and whatnot. And, you know, the way he had game about himself, I'm sure he's been elevated to programming status. And that's what the Coco thing was for. Even the first wife, Darlene, the one on the cover of Ryan Pays and on the cover of Power. It's a very memorable cover. But yeah, LL said things like, you know, he had connections to the mob. LL stayed in excellent shape, and he looked like the guy who had did that shooting, and now I'm starting to make a connection. Starting to make a connection now. If they send the entertainers out to do stuff, what better way? Look at Rodman. Rodman went over there to go kick it with the dude from North Korea, right? This is making a lot of sense. Have mercy. It's dawning on me. So yes, they do. They send the athletes and the entertainers after they've trained them. Gina Davis was a master archer. They send them to go do missions. Austin Powers, Goldfinger, because they're in MK Ultra mode. They're great for doing missions. They're already mind controlled. They can already split their brain into different thinking. You can go have them do something, they never even remember what they did. If they get caught and tortured, they can't even tell because they don't recall. That personality didn't even do it. But yeah, you got LL with a lot of those things going on. And the brother's name escapes me, but he was supposed to have been disgruntled by the LAPD. I know y'all know. The name should be in the comments by now. But he was supposed to have been a disgruntled former LAPD dude, and he holed himself up somewhere. And he was giving the police the blues for a while. And he looked, not only did he look like Cool J, but they were using Cool J pictures as his picture. And at first that didn't make any sense to me. Now I got it. So am I to say LL Cool J was actually out there doing that? I'm not to say he wasn't. Have mercy. Steven Seagal, alleged mob, CIA, and law enforcement ties. I know you heard about it. He got in trouble with the mob. They had to watch him and protect him. Who had to? Some of his former employers. He went on Arsenio and said how he had kicked Van Damme butt because he really did work for the government. See, that programming was going haywire. When they talk too much, that's what's happening. Because the devil not perfect. He don't get everything perfect. Jesse Ventura, we know, was a SEAL, Navy SEAL. He said all the time wrestling, I was a Navy SEAL, Vince. And then a governor of Minnesota. Where Prince put his mind control down. Prince is a handler. He went from being handled and getting handled to being a handler. That's where you get them bad chicks from. And all of the twin symbolism. He's so steeped into the game. And like Jesse Ventura, when it's too much evidence surrounding you, too much heat on you for fakery, you come out and you say something about a conspiracy theory. I wasn't born yesterday. I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but I ain't the dullest bulb in the lamp. All right, now. Oh, Demi Moore and her SEAL training. They said some of the SEALs was mad about that. How you let somebody in just for a movie, if a movie is just a movie, if it's just for entertainment? How you gonna train her with the SEALs for real? Are you getting it now? NASA. Mind control. Scientists came from Project Paperclip. They came and put down the mind control program that is NASA. It's not about outer space, it's about inner space. What inner space? The inner space between your ears. Have mercy. They're going dimensionally. They're switching altars You can tell one alter one thing and the other one don't know it. You don't even know it. Sound like mind control programming to me. I do know it. Don't tell me what I don't know. You're trying to brainwash me? Have mercy. Doing too much. Okay, but yes, NASA and Nazi. We looked at that a number of times. Same thing we just did with the word sin. You drop out the vowels and put some new vowels in. Turn the S backward like it belongs, and you get the word Nazi. We talked about that a number of times. I don't believe I have to break that down fully again. But you know I will. Let's look at Nazi and NASA. I did this, I believe, on the one about Comet Ison. All you have to do, drop out the vowels, put new vowels in, turn the S around like it used to have been. And there you have it. But yes, they came here and they established NASA. And they not only worked on rocket ships, but they worked on MK Ultra. MK Ultra, was born of Project Paperclip. Have mercy. So there are lots of movies that were made with programming masses in mind. Wizard of Oz is one of them. Books were written also. Catcher in the Rye is one. Excuse me. But also, Alice in Wonderland is another. Okay? In Alice in Wonderland, it was the bunny following that white rabbit that led her down into another world. Okay? Which was facilitated by drinking strange drink and causing her to have hallucinations. And they do this in mind control. That's why it's called sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Not sex, drugs, and hip hop. Molly for mind control. Ecstasy for mind control. Weed for mind control. The government has control of your weed now. Don't play no games. Okay? There's outer space fantasy programming, mind control, and NASA and Space Jam. Release date 11/6. The Dark Knight killings were done in a theater called, what was it called? Century 16, which is 116 or 116, which is an inversion, flipping upside down, 911, which was also a mind-controlled, MK Ultra controlled event. What was the programming? Scared the living daylights out of you. Fear programming. Mind control programming is fear-based. Release date. Okay. So Space Jam was Michael Jordan in a fantasy land. Was it not? Where, what did he do? He met Bugs Bunny. The bunny, the rabbit, mind control programming. Looney Tunes. Looney, having to do with the mind. Mind-controlled individuals act crazy. Crazy as a loon. The military connection in SRA. We talked about some of that already. Master Sergeant James R. Jordan Jr. is Michael Jordan's brother. In My Family's Shadow is the book written by Dolores E. Jordan, Michael Jordan's sister, who claimed that she lost her virginity to their father, James R. Jordan Sr. It was published in 2001 and it is no longer in print. That was her book. She also wrote a book about her recovering from such abuse called From Pain to Purpose. She also has a website, Dolores E. as in egg Jordan. Nike Frozen Moment commercial. Was that Game 6? He held up 6 fingers with the 2 x 3 on his chest, or the 3 divided by 2. or the 2 goes into 3. 1.5. 1 plus 5 is 6. Lots of 6s. Okay. And this also reminded me, like, after winning, how they showed the Miami Big Three going through the tunnel, leaving from the floor of the stadium, going backstage to their locker room. It showed the Big Three in this formation after beating OKC, where Durant uncharacteristically blew free throws, layups, and easy shots to ensure that LeBron would get his first and would begin to step into the shoes of being that new idol, that new icon of basketball, the new ball god. They left out in this formation. You had Chris Bosh, who is gay as a party. I don't even like how he hold his neck. You got D Wade. They stood together. They walked behind LeBron. They comprised the 13, and LeBron comprised the number. He wore the number 6, and that was symbolic of the devil leading the witches, okay, or his minions. 13 and 6. Okay, also noted odd numbers. Odd numbers are favorites of the elite. They're called odd numbers. Even numbers and odd numbers. Evening numbers and odd numbers. Odd means strange. 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, and 33. 5 symbolic of the number of death, i.e. a 5-star general. The 5, fifth element. And 5 also when you add 2 plus 3. Okay, Spike Lee, Mars Blackman. Mars Blackman. What brother's name Mars? But we talked about that. The Aries symbolism, the sports symbolism, the mind control programming of going to outer space, Space Jam, and Mars. Also, not NASA. Mars Blackman and the Boule Prince Hall connection. Scottie Pippen and Ahmad Rashad. Former husband of Black elite Sora Felicia Rashad, an alleged sister of Vanessa Del Rio. Basketball dreams, the ghetto support and exploitation. Be like Mike, but does he want to be like you? Hell no. The word dream appears 6 times in the lyrics to the Be Like Mike commercials. 6 again. 14,641 Gatorade bottles for Mike. You add up 1 plus 4 plus 6 plus 4 plus 1, and you look at 14,641. It's the same number forward and backward, but you add it up. Where's it at? 14,641 Gatorade bottles. Same number forward and backward, right there. And you add it up, and it equals 6. Okay, these notes are really small, so I'm just going to read them. Okay. Of course, he went to the Washington Wizards. Devoted Brotherhood members learn wizardry. He was number 45. 4 plus 5 is 9, which is an inverted 6. The Wizards logo is very telling. We'll look at that in depth next. We'll go back. The Wizards logo, you have the crescent moon. Again, it's a stylized swastika, which is symbolizing mind control. Hitler had them folks under mind control. Okay? Controlling the masses. You have the 8-pointed star here. It's 8 points. You have 8 points on the basketball. You have 8 points on the crescent ball. And you have your W. What's W again, class? 3 V's. Vol, vol, vol. Like your Monster energy drink. That's the symbol for Volve in Hebrew. The claw mark supposedly made by the Monster energy drink. And I started to buy one just to show y'all the can, but I'm not finna get them $1. But I saw a new energy drink called Venom. Have mercy. They call one poison, and I bet you drink it. Girl, put a little arsenic with that Grey Goose. Arsenic? Yeah, that's the new energy drink. Have mercy. I remember when my homeboy Harry Monster, he would have loved this too. Rest in peace, my brother Harold, I miss him. But I remember when he first started putting Red Bull with his Grey Goose, and I remember I went by there. I had never heard of that before. It was new. It was a new thing to do. And he told me about it. I said, where you get that from? I don't know. Everybody doing it now. Ain't that crazy? I'm doing it too, like a fool. Harold was smart as a whip, a real G, for real. And he used to love to hear me break stuff down and drop knowledge. You know, he was a real guy, and I miss him. But yeah, he would have really enjoyed this because he would watch the game faithfully. And then call me and be like, so Ted, you mean to tell me that when such and such happened, that was orchestrated? I'm like, yeah. And then he started picking up on it. He'd call me and tell me about the game. I wasn't even watching it. He'd call me and tell me what he spotted. Once the veil is off your eyes, you're no longer bound by this tactic of the devil making man become idolized. You should not idolize no man. Okay? It's okay to say someone has skill, someone has talent. But when they go off into be like and different things of that nature, they're pushing you into MK Ultra and Project Janus, making you become someone else. You're dressing like someone else. You know, I remember DJ Run said, no Calvin Klein, no friend of mine, don't want nobody name on my behind. And that stuck with me as a young person. Now you can say that's programming. But they said a lot of things. I did buy me some Adidas. But that stuck with me, that I didn't want no man name or nobody name emblazoned across my chest, on my behind, or nowhere. Because that's that man name. That's like Rick Ross. We'll take another man name. That ain't no brand name. That's a man name. Have mercy. He got sued for it too, and they set up the real Rick Ross Lovely. He came to town not too long ago, some months ago. He came to town as a motivational speaker, speaking to the children. But okay. You know Felicia Rashad was in on the hookup, but now hold on. Let's run it back. Now, I went to Mumford High. Teachers there, there was one teacher in particular, my main man, Mr. Fancher, my African-American history teacher. He was a cool dude, and he took to me. And oftentimes when I'm teaching, I think about Mr. Fancher. Mr. Fancher had told us that Vanessa Del Rio brother or something had went there. Fancher had went to Mumford too. He used to wear his old tight Mumford football shirt. It was tight on him, but he could still wear it. It was class of 1960 something. But he said that Vanessa Del Rio brother had said it was supposed to be a secret. But they sisters was Vanessa Del Rio and Debbie Allen. And then Debbie Allen married Norm Nixon. She also played the heroin addict on Good Time there, didn't she? On that one episode. On the episode that didn't end with no clapping. See, when it was too serious, they didn't end with no clapping. See? JD just standing there with his mouth open and the window open. Have mercy. But yeah, so Felicia Rashad, she ends up with Bill Cosby for the Cosby Show. I think she was in the Secret Life of Bees. She was in one of them. She was in one of them recent movies playing the mama, you know, now. But yeah, old Cosby liked it, her. The way he rubbed them feet in them little love scenes and whatnot, them little baby bear love scenes that they have. But see, I forgot. I'm dating myself. Vanessa Del Rio was the porn star. When I was growing up and I used to sneak in my daddy's room, when I wasn't looking for Aleister Crowley books, I was looking for porn tapes. And he had quite a selection. And Vanessa Del Rio was that deal. She was the ethnic porn star. Now we can just go ahead and say black. But, you know, they gave her Del Rio. It was all part of making it seem like she was a Latina. But, you know, we know that people who come from that Latino background, they're, you know, they like to say brown people, they black people too. They got to them islands by way of Africa, by way of the slave trade, in most cases. It's my understanding. But anyhow, Mike with Mariah for the tribute, wearing a huge diamond butterfly ring on her finger when she sang the tribute, the tribute to Mike Jordan that they had, which was, again, hero or Heru and idol worship programming. Jordan and Bill Clinton, who we know was a mind-controlled president, they had that footage of him on one of them on a Damn Shame or something where they showed him in that frozen moment where he was definitely in a trance. Bill Clinton said, I don't know that I've ever seen a more beautiful combination of mind, body, and spirit. Mind control is spirit possession. Home, sick, or away, Jordan played like a man possessed. Then you have color commentary versus play-by-play, telling you what to think. The play-by-play is supposed to tell you what's happening as if you're blind and can't see the game, and they're giving you the game about what's happening. So theoretically, you can close your eyes, and by the play-by-play man, or when it's on the radio, the play-by-play man lets you know what's going on play-by-play. Well, the color commentator, he has a different job. Color commentator, he's to color what you see, to shade it the way it need to be shaded. And he will give you all of the extra anecdotes when things don't make sense by the play-by-play. He's the real dude with the mind control job. And that's why certain ones get the job and certain ones do not. Okay? Magic might have had some magic, but they wasn't too sure about him being able to properly do the things that need to be done. I'm sure they slipped them a paper or they run something across their screen to let them know when there's some jive being done down there on the floor. They don't want the fans to catch on to it. That's when the color commentator speaks up. He makes the excuse. He excuses what's going on. Like your eyes didn't see what your eyes just seen. That's the game. Don't get mad at me. Don't hate me, hate the game. Don't hate the game, but don't get sucked in by nothing. Okay, don't let them game you. His private jet, Michael's private jet, is called the Gulfstream 4. I felt a military with that. Again, the number 4. And of course, his 6 championships, and his number is his plane number, N236 MJ. That's the number on the wing of the jet. You can look it up, find it. And of course, that equals N. 2 times 3 is 6. And then 6, and the number 6, and M plus J. You have the 13th letter and the M. Excuse me, the M is the 13th letter and the 10th letter is the J. 13 and 10 is 23. MJ, Michael Jackson. So when your boy Gay-Z say what he say, MJ, Mike Jackal, whatever he say, I can't stand him. He sounds like, you know, he sounds like more of false baller than Rick Ross. But at least Rick Ross got a little voice action. But he, you know, if you know what you're listening to, you can still hear what Common said he saw in Ice Cube. I can hear that in Rick Ross's voice. And I hear it in Jay-Z's voice too. Jay-Z don't sound like he was never off the porch. He ain't got it in his voice. It's a quality. You get used to hearing enough brothers talk that talk. He ain't got it. But anyway, the little line he say about MJ, making the 2 MJs, that ain't nothing. They told him the secret of the mystic number 23. Michael Jackson and Michael Jordan, 2 MJs, both equal 23, both equal 66, the number of the Qibla or the fallen angels, or the 666. Mark of the beast. Final game. Michael's final game was versus Philadelphia 76ers. 7 plus 6 was 13. It was on 4/16/03. Did I add that up? No, I didn't. That's 14. Should be 1 plus 4 would be 5. Excuse me, but that's near the cusp. Coming out of Aries, is in Aries. When the last days of Aries, when the competition spirit is especially strong, Taurus coming in, according to astrology. And he played 13 seasons. He retired number 23 on January 13th. 1999. 1999. 1999. East 19999. All symbolic of 1666. Have mercy. The black mass colors. Oh, a couple more things. The Jordan River, the river with the lowest elevation in the world. I thought it was interesting. Both of his names had biblical significance. Who is Michael? That means to be like God, or one who is like God. That's supposed to be the chief angel, the angel that's going to bind the devil up in chains and throw him into the pit. Okay? That's the warrior angel. And Jordan, the river Jordan was crossed by the warriors of Joshua. And it is the river that Jesus' cousin John the Baptist baptized him in, as our scripture tells us. Jordan River, a river with the lowest elevation in the world. Interesting how elevation was always mentioned in accordance with Jordan. Its mouth is the Dead Sea. Again, dead in the number 5, meaning it flows into the Dead Sea. It's Nahr al-Urdun in Arabic and Ha-Yarden in Hebrew. It's mentioned over 175 times in the Bible, so it may be the very most important river in Scripture. And again, we said John the Baptist baptized Jesus there, and Joshua, the man of war, and the Israelites crossing Jordan for war in Joshua 3. Jesus and the feet. Now we're looking at your Jordans. The importance of Jesus and the feet. Now, they will say Jesus is symbolized by the fish or by Pisces. Interestingly, or the age of Pisces. Interestingly, the fish sign of Pisces is represented by the body part of the feet. Okay. And Jordan is, his sign would be considered Aquarius, near the cusp of Pisces, February 17th. Aquarian age, and Aquarius being ruled by Jupiter, which is the sign of having things. Having things. R.I.P. Pimp C. But yeah, it's the biggest, largest, so it also means to be the epitome of. Okay? Aquarius people try to be the epitome of whatever it is they're trying to do. Okay? And that be like all they are. You know? Like their sensitivities to other things don't always be there. And also Aquarius in accumulation, accumulating things, having a lot of things, being the biggest at something. Okay. Jesus and the feet. He washes his disciples' feet in John 13, 1 through 17. And he says, he who is bathed needs only to wash his feet. Jesus focused on the importance of washing one body part in particular, and that was the feet. Sitting at Jesus' feet. You find that in Scripture. And people weeping behind his feet. And the woman who washed his feet with her hair. All significance behind the importance of the feet. And like I told y'all, Jamaican Bandit had told us, rest in peace Jamaican Bandit, who was a big guy here in the city. He was trying to clean up his money, and you know, he was down at the studio there recording some things. This one, I believe I was still a teenager, or I couldn't have been much older than 22 or 23. And he told us, he said, man, them doctors, they can look at the soles of your feet and they can tell different things about your man. They know different things about the baby before the baby even get grown. And I was like, And I remember, you know, we all just kind of listen like, but something about that had that kernel of truth. Well, the bottom of your feet is called your soles. And your Nike soles are emblazoned with symbolism connecting itself to the occult and witchcraft. And of course, we have the black mask colors for the original Jordans: red, black, and white. See Anton LaVey in the Church of Satan. That's the colors of the Church of Satan: red, black, and white. Also, I remember having the Ralph Sampson Pumas. I had the Ralph Sampson 3/4 suede boys with the leather on top, on the 3/4 portion, and the suede on the bottom. And perhaps Ralph Sampson couldn't stomach everything that he was made to do. And I believe he was a Houston Rocket. They had to bid him adieu. Red Bull. The Red Bull gives you wings. Look at the bull, has the blood-tipped horns, the mean mug, of course, and it's inside of a pyramid, a diamond. Okay. Red Bull, they say, gives you wings. Flight symbolism again. Then you have Red Bull malt liquor, which will sit you down. And then you have Schlitz, which is a German name. MK Ultra was brought to us by German scientists. Not demonizing Germans, but it's where the technology came from. Nazi technology. You have Schlitz Blue Bull on the Schlitz beer. Then we have Phil Knight, a Knight of Malta, perhaps. Well, the Lions owner is a Knight of Malta, of the Ford family. The Fords own the Lions, and Mike Ilitch owned the Tigers and the Red Wings, who tend to do good at the same time. Mike Ilitch is a Greek gangster. Greektown is a part of Detroit, part of downtown Detroit. They have a casino there in that small area of downtown. It's a section of downtown called Greektown with a lot of restaurants and whatnot. If you ever come here, this is where anybody that's from the city would tell you to go and, you know, find you something to eat, or, you know, go to Pizza Popolis or one of the places down there. It's the real popular area that kids come from the suburbs, and they patronize that area. And, you know, also native Detroiters. We like to go to Greektown, lots of different things in Greektown. They used to have a Greektown festival. But it had to do with the gangstership, the Greek gangsters. Detroit was once ran by the Purple Gang, which was the Jewish gangsters. Okay, a lot of the neighborhoods were Jewish neighborhoods. The Jewish gangsters bought up the real estate. Then it became a black gangster city. Okay, Coleman Young. You know he was Boule affiliated, down with the military. He was a Tuskegee Airman. He went for no gangs. He said he used to work for the gangsters. He said it. He said one of his first jobs was to dive down in the Belle Isle River. What Isle? Belle. We're still in the Brotherhood of the Ball. Belle is Ball. Ball Isle River. Dive down in there and during Prohibition, and get the liquor that the gangsters would drop off of their boats and bring it to the shore for the gangsters, and they get paid for doing that. Have mercy. But yes, I digress. So Phil Knight, the guy that owns Nike. Nike, we've already talked about. That's a god, a consort of Athena, Roman pagan god or demon. Phil Knight has $1 billion business from child labor and marketing to your kids. So you want to deny the child labor. They got caught doing it. Okay, enslaving children to make them shoes that don't cost but about $9 to make. And he makes 1,000% profit. Okay, and he markets it to children, to kids, to young people who are impressionable, okay, and who work hard for their little change. And then they go and they buy something that ain't worth $20 in actual material value, and they spend 10 times that amount for it. This is not only mind control, it's gangsterism and robbery, and he ought to be ashamed for it. It's wizardry and trickery. Because if not for the corporate trickery that was involved in making the shoe popular in pop culture, okay, like, you know, making songs about having some J's on. I remember when for a minute they was falling off. They did another publicity push, a promotional push, and J's back on top. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember that? In Detroit, Michigan, there was a term when somebody walked up on you and they liked your Troop jacket or your Max Julian jacket. That was the leather jacket with the hood and the fur around it. Or your Jingle boots. Or your ponies. People used to get killed for pony gym shoes, believe it or not. Or your BKs, because the gang was called the 7 Mile Black Killers. So they's the only ones supposed to wear BKs. Black killers. Yeah, I know. They're all gone now, but that's what it used to be. But they'll also kill you quick for a pair of Jordans. Believe it. And to this day, they don't use the term check it in no more. That was the dreaded term. If you walking home from school with some of this group of guys behind you, them the 3 words you don't want to hear. Check it in. I mean, check in them Jordan. Give up your shoes. And of course, lots of kids will fight. Like Ron said in my Adidas. I like 3/4. That's why I bought them. Sucker tried to steal them, so I caught him and I fought him. Nowadays, you win a fight, you still lost. Because the guy can't take losing a fight in front of his homeboys. Gonna pull out that thigh out, that Thriller. And I ain't talking about the glove with the glitter on it. Have mercy. And of course, I could not find credible information to point to Michael Jordan investing in prisons. But again, that's an investment that makes a lot of sense to me. When we find, and that's on the last page, but when we find that there is involvement from music companies also owning private prisons, it makes perfect sense to me. They helping, it's one investment helping the other. And of course, that would be kept secret. That could be kept secret by someone as high profile and powerful as him. That's investment information that could be considered sensitive financial information. I'm sure he got the lawyers and the dogs to make sure that that's kept secret. Okay. So Nike, Tiger Woods and Bob Hope, the bloodline connection. Now they threw Tiger up under the bus. You have the bloodline connection with Earl Woods, who died. You know, a lot of these athletes, people die too close to a time when the athlete is achieving some pinnacle of their career. They're reaching some pinnacle of their career, then somebody died. If someone could work out the mathematical formula for that, maybe I need my brother Nick, but if somebody could work out the mathematical formula to find out the ratio of deaths to athletes and when they reaching their pinnacle versus in other jobs, because it's supposed to be just a job. That's what we told. The percentage is got to be mind-blowing. There's got to be a much greater percentage of deaths deaths in the family related to athletes and their achievements than you can find in anything else. Maybe right next to it you might find actors' families or actors' family members losing their lives in concordance, in direct accordance with the actors shooting a movie, especially new actors. But You had Tiger Woods on Bob Hope when he was a little guy, and Bob Hope is said by Bryce Taylor to have been her handler. In the book Thanks for the Memories by Bryce Taylor, former MK Ultra mind control program slave and presidential model, just like Kathy O'Brien. So if you're familiar with Kathy O'Brien's story but not Bryce Taylor's story, you might want to check hers out too. Okay, same game, different name. Okay, the MK Ultra connection is there with Bob Hope. You start them when they little. And magic movement of the ball. You teach mind powers by way of demonic possession. Demonic possession and mind powers go hand in hand. I have seen it. I know it works. I've seen this. So I have no more question about that. Oh, well, maybe we're supposed to use... Well, they say we only use 13. You don't know that. That could be part of the Luciferian plan in injecting that into academia, injecting that into what colleges and universities teach, okay? So that you will desire to use the other parts of your brain. What if all of it's being used, but they won't tell you that? Come on. You can't trust them like this. Use your game detector. That is an excellent game. Sometimes you got to think like the enemy. If I was the enemy, I'd tell y'all that, so that it'll help influence you to get into this mind magic and mental wizardry, mentalism. The mind as God. So magical movement of the ball in Tiger Woods. You've seen it before. The porn star connection in MK Ultra and Tiger Woods. He got busted for what? Cheating on his wife, and many of the women that he cheated with was porn stars. And the classic MK Ultra NWO technique of, well, we use you and we lose you. We through with you. Throw him up under the bus. And they threw him up under the bus in classic media fashion. They build stars. Stars are born just like in the heavens. And stars are destroyed. And they destroy stars. You got the colors of the black mass. Again, on your feet. You got the symbol, the sickle, which represents victory when held up, defeat when held down, like on your Newport box. Look at the jump man here. 5 points on the jump man. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And in the Nike store, in the real one, in the corporate store, you will find that very logo encircled, which will constitute sacred geometry or pentagram. Okay, we talked about the black mass, the red bull, and again, the red bull is inside of a pyramid, a diamond. If you complete, this line down here, see that space there? If you complete that, that's a diamond. Last page, I believe. Let me make sure here. We did get all of this right. Oh, the red and black. I found this interesting. When I was doing my little visual aid, I drew all of that just for that. I don't know how long that took for me to draw. Now let me show you some other ones first. Check it out. Check out the different colors. White. Didn't seem to be any pattern behind. Okay, all of them is white. All of them is white. All of them is white. A couple of them was black. Meaning the marker part, the cap has the color that the marker is. So this is the cap for red. What color you think the actual marker is? White or black? See? See how some of the markers are actually colored white? Most of them are white. Okay. A few of them are black. What you think? Interesting. Don't mean nothing. I don't mean that. It's a coincidence. Literally. Coincidence. It coincides. Okay. Okay, we did look at everything, I believe, here. Didn't we? N plus J, which is the 13th plus the 10th letter, 23. Number 11, Jordans was called Bread, about breeding athletes, breeding warriors, breeding soldiers. Is it in you? The Gatorade. The red and black, the Church of Satan. The Bulls and the Bears of Wall Street. I think I did touch on that yesterday, right? To keep you in stocks and bonds, which are used for imprisonment. The bull market and the bear market. Either the market's doing good or it's not doing so good. Yeah, Phil Jackson and Triangle Pyramid Offense, and Kobe is second generation. The Wings Supernatural advertisements. Again, Kobe advertised Nike, right? His dad was Jelly Bean Johnson. Excuse me, Jelly Bean Bryant, who played for the 76ers. That's how Kobe grew up in France and had French for a second language, and how he was so throwed off that he ain't know not to bust on Shaq and different things like that. Kobe throwed off. His raps was throwed off. He's throwed. But again, your dad give you to the hookup. That's what happens. Their fathers give them to the hookup. Earl Woods gave Tiger to the hookup. They sacrificed their children to Ball, to Malak. In the case of Jelly Bean, he really sacrificed his child to Ball. Okay, this was from May 1996, the Bulls and Satan connection. This was by a guy who obviously hated the Bulls. And, I love Chicago. Chicago is like a sister city to Detroit. Ain't but 4 hours away. We kick it quite similar. Have some of the similar strengths and some similar weaknesses. But, and the historic games between the Bad Boys and the Bulls in their heyday was some games I really enjoyed in my youth. When I was a child, I spake as a child. When I became a man, I put away childish things. 21,000 Bulls fans chanting, Horace, Horace. You thought it was for Horace Grant, didn't you? Horus is the Greek name for Heru. Heru is the falcon-headed god, the hawk-headed god. Falcon is a form of hawk, bird of prey, like an eagle. But it's the one you see on Kanye's chain, on the new Jesus chain, and it is who they revere, who Crowley conjured up, and who told him, I am the snake that giveth man wisdom. This is your Heru. This is your Horus. The center, back in them Pistons versus Bulls days, Bad Boys versus Bulls days, the center's name was Luke. Can't make this stuff up. Luke Longley, the center. The center. Teams were, at one time, they were built around the center. Lew Cinder. Cinder. Lew Cinder, or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Okay. Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt the Stilts Chamberlain. The center was the foundation of teams at one time. The game got faster, Showtime, and making showboat plays to make the game more marketable moved into the forefront, and then guards began to be the center or leader of the team. And it's really in the Jordan era that the guard became the center or the leader of the team. Okay, Isaiah, you had that dynamic, but it was still more of a team effort. But where the guard took over and put the team on his back, that started with Jordan. Jordan made that the way that it is today. He made that the norm for basketball. But yes, his name was not L-U-K-E Longley, but L-U-C Longley. And I always thought that was weird. What do I know? What do I know? This is a guy from Detroit. Benny the Bull, representing the Taurian version of the devil. The United Center, the United Nations, United, One World Order. Chicago's role in the One World Order. His role in the Boule Directive. Jesse Jackson. Oprah Winfrey. Okay. The Obamas. Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman is now doing things for our government, going over there kicking it with my man from North Korea, right? Dennis Rodman was a staple on the Pistons team. He was a little normal with the Pistons. Now, what we had heard here was that he walked in on them running up his wife. And them was supposed to be Vinnie Johnson. I remember Vinnie Johnson's name was named. I forget some of the other names it was named, but I remember they said Vinnie Johnson was supposed to be in it. And Dennis Rodman supposedly lost his mind seeing his mind-controlled wife getting ran up. And if you hear Dennis Rodman's story, it's an odd story behind Dennis Rodman, why he acts so odd. But that supposedly blew his mind. Or that was part of the initiation process. And after that event happened, next thing you know, Dennis Rodman walking around here in a wedding dress. He wore the dress, the Boule dress. Now all of this is after he left the Pistons, right? He goes and plays for the team that they was locked in vicious battle with for years. And he becomes a Chicago Bull, colors his hair blonde, and becomes the rebound machine. And Scottie Pippen had a tattoo of his arm that said, on his arm that said evil. Scottie Pippen was not my favorite guy. I started to just call him a punk. But he went on Arsenio Hall's show, and because he was getting booed by the Detroit fans, he gonna say people in Detroit was dirty or lazy or some slurish, slanderous thing that he said, and I didn't appreciate it. Okay. Thugs, gangsters, and mobsters, sports and gangsters, the gambling connection. You saw the Blue Chip movie starring Shaquille O'Neal. Frats, brotherhoods, mob ties, and Vegas, all going together. Okay. The hood investor, you can throw that in there too. Laundering money by way of the neighborhood athlete. A great way to clean your money up if you ball it. So this is where you get the connections, where you find many athletes like Allen Ivo and different ones still kind of thugging it, or having peoples that's still thugging it. And the real gangsters is in the secret societies. Those are the real dudes that can get you touched no matter where you at in the world. The Red Wings and the Tigers are owned by Mike Ilitch, who is the guy, the owner and creator of Little Caesars. Again, excuse me, they're trying to raise a new empire. The new world is a new empire. Caesar was the emperor. He also owns Olympia Entertainment. He's a Greek. Olympia, Mount Olympus, and athletes. We talked about that in part 1. Zeus's daughter is Athena. Zeus was the god over all gods on top Mount Olympus. And his daughter Athena is where you get athletes from in athletics. Okay. So Olympia Entertainment. And he's Greek. Jimmy the Greek, you know, not demonizing any particular people, but you got different gangsters for different type of ethnicities. And he's into the Greek gangster thing. If you remember Jimmy the Greek, the way he act, that's a gangster type name, Jimmy the Greek. But Jimmy the Greek was ousted from commentating and doing sports interviews and whatnot because of making the statement that blacks were better athletes because they had bigger thighs and things of that nature. And everybody came down on him because that's not supposed to be said. But and it's not entirely, well, you know, we ain't got to go there, you know. Just like with Sterling, this is my point. How many others think and feel the same way? When you get thrown up under the bus, okay, either you've done something terribly stupid in public, stupid enough where you're really embarrassed the Brotherhood and they can't cover it up for you, Okay, that can happen. Or you've done something they don't like. So they take the stuff you do and say anyway, and they put it out there. That's what the Sterling thing reminded me of when they got Jimmy the Greek. Okay, some of y'all, may not be old enough to remember that. Okay, interesting. Kevin Durant's mother, going off of what Neo B had told me to look at some of Kevin Durant's connections, and Neo, I look for you to drop some lines down there and fill us in a little bit more on what specifically you had found. But I didn't find much except for his connection to his best friend, Michael Beasley of the Phoenix Suns, and how he still kind of had one foot in the streets. They're both from the D.C., Maryland, Virginia area, known for crime, and also for being where you find the White House, and not too far from there, the CIA. And Durant wears number 35 for his coach, Charles Craig, his AAU coach, who was killed at 35 years old. I think that's an odd tribute. 35 could be the 555 that you find symbolized in the Brotherhood of Death, or it could be an 8 symbolizing the Jupiter, which they all love, Jupiter making them stupider. But Durant is a member of the Rock Nation sports family. Okay. Interesting. Alleged sex offender Jim Miller has a cameo in Thunderstruck, which is, I guess, a film about Durant and the Thunder. And when I looked in the sex offender registry, there's a Kevin Wayne Durant in there from OKC, but he's supposed to be 28, so it can't be the same one. Kevin Durant has a little ongoing diss thing with Lil B. For some reason, in some statement, he told the truth that Lil B was whack. Lil B is whack. Named his album I'm Gay. He called himself the Bass God, and his rhymes is whack. He's whack. But Lil B has a diss song on Kevin Durant. Interesting. This is Brotherhood to Brotherhood, controlled opposition. Also, you have supposedly from Instagram, The Game says that he bet 20 G's that he could hit this three-pointer. James Harden, Drake, and DeMar DeRozan was all there, and The Game says he hit the three-pointer. And Durant says he's lying. Okay. Got to remember too, witchcraft is all about control and manipulation. Control. They are all controlled through a variety of means. Okay. Now I got this from the Atlantean conspiracy, which I know some of you are familiar with, but they fall under some portion of the Luciferian lie, the part that's easy for everybody to fall under, because people don't want a Lord. They don't mind a Savior. They want to be saved, but they don't want nobody to tell them nothing about what to do. No rules, no regulations. But they had some interesting numerology here using gematria, which is if you say A equals 1, B equals 2, C equals 3. They looked at the full words that comprise the different sports organizations, and they brought 13s out of all of them. You'll have to pause this if you want it, because I'm not going to read it all off. We're almost at 3 hours. But they found 13s. I just did that for the NASCAR one there at the bottom. For those of you that's into watching cars go around and around and around. But as you see, if you do the gematria, and I counted the letters also, just to see if I saw anything there. See how much I was looking for y'all. But according to the gematria, which is using A equals 1, B equals 2, C equals 3, etc. When the math was done, and again, I did not do the math. I copied this directly from bibliotechapleiades.net. And you see Pleiades, it smells like New Age. But they did have some interesting things on there. They had some interesting things on there. They did. Which, of course, every good lie has a foundation of good truth. So if you note the start of every Indy 500 race, they start with 11 rows with 3 cars in each row. Okay. Jupiter and the number 8. Roland's Jupiter 8 Infinity is a new keyboard, or a keyboard that they're advertising. I looked at some of Jordan's endorsements from www.businessinsider.com, and you ain't supposed to count nobody else's money, but had to take a look at this from an article from 2003. A decade after he retired, MJ still makes $80 million a year. He made $90 million total in NBA salary. Okay, so this article must have came out in 13. Okay. His net worth $650 million. Have mercy. Nike royalties alone, just in Nike. So you know they're gonna hide anything that have stopped the Nike sales. So we ain't gonna hear about him giving to the prison. Okay? But I believe it. My personal belief is it makes perfect sense that he would have done that. Okay, that's one investment helping out the other. Okay, dudes steal the shoes, get killed for the shoes. That helps fill up the prison that you've invested in. Nike royalties alone, $60 million a year. So if he makes $80 million a year, all his other endorsements together only make a third of what he make off of Nike. Okay? And his shoe, the Gamma Blue, back when this was made, the Gamma Blue caused riots and made an estimated $74 million in revenue in one day. Okay. He has endorsements with Hanes, 2K Sports, Gatorade, Nike. I do believe he did a McDonald's commercial. I'm sure they gave him a nice penny for that. He has $12.8 million. Excuse me, he has a $12.8 million dream house in Florida. And a $2.8 million Charlotte, or house right outside of Charlotte, as well. He also endorses 5-star fragrances, Presbyterian Healthcare, 2K Sports, Upper Deck. He has 6 restaurants. This is from BusinessInsider.com. A motorsports team and a dealership in North Carolina. And he owns 80% of the hometown team, his hometown team, the Charlotte Bobcats. Now, relating to whether he, the fact that he gives money, I can't say it's a fact. Allegedly, it makes sense to me that of course he gives money to private prisons, and they're hiding that information. Okay. Companies that promote violent music also own private prisons. Hip Hop in Prison for Profit. Look it up. By Rick. Excuse me. The Hip Hop in Prison for Profit agenda. Excuse me. The Hip Hop in Prison for Profit. You can Google that, and that's part of the Rick Ross agenda. Telling people you selling dope straight off the iPhone. How many game goofy goobers selling dope off of their phones right now? They wait, build a case on you, then they come get you. To fill up them private-owned prisons. They can't be sitting there empty. Have mercy. So all of the rappers, not only is giving, some of them giving work, all of them ain't giving work. Okay? But some of them are given work by the government. I never have dinner with the president. Eazy-E went and had dinner with dope dealing president Daddy Bush. About what? Why dope man? Dope man. Why you having dinner with Bones man? Bones man. He was telling Eazy-E what's what. And I told y'all, my mans and them used to get to work with Bush face stamped on it, or Clinton face stamped on it, or Cobra Commander Cobra stamped on it. On the block. CCA, the Corrections Corporation of America, BET Cable, and MJ record labels, all allegedly invest in the CCA, the Corrections Corporation of America, or other private prison corporations like it. Okay, He wore number 45 on the Barons team, which is a Birmingham, Alabama Southern League team. He joined the Barons on 3/31/94. Again, 3/31, which is 13 backwards, 94, which is 9 plus 4, which is 13. And he wore number 45, which we already talked about 45 for the Wizards. But also, isn't this interesting? Isn't this interesting? 45 for the Wizards, stylized swastika. Swastika is a magic sign for mind control, controlling the masses. Hitler used it to control the masses. And look at that. Anything about this reminds you of this? He played for the Barons. Come on, make the connection. The Barons. Maybe you don't understand, but that's a royal term in the German culture. When Snoopy would have his fantasy that the top of his doghouse was a plane, he'd be the Red Baron, or you know, he'd be fighting against the Red Baron, right? Who had a Nazi swastika on his plane in a child's cartoon. Okay. All right. Okay. The swastika, stylized swastika. Okay, now we're talking about the Washington symbols. I believe we looked at all of that. Washington Wizards symbol. Get a good look at it. It has a stylized swastika. The 8-pointed star. Okay, we pointed all of that out except for the fact that the man magic hat got a pentagram on it. And that's a man with a little bit of a head there, which can also be the neck of a bird. That's the magic bird, also in symbolism. The years of Magic and Bird are iconic and brought basketball to the level that it's at today. The magic bird, again, representing the phoenix. Okay. So the head and hat double as a bird's beak on a Washington Wizard logo. Ask yourself, what does MJ have to do with Washington? Also called Wa-Shaitan. Washington, Wa-Shaitan. Washington. Lots of money laundering in Washington. Okay. Now we're going to look at some generalities and we're done. A few more general things and then we're done. Believe me. Homosexuality in the Brotherhood, it's essential. It's a boys club. Lots of homosexuality in a boys club. No girls allowed. The He-Man Woman Haters Club. For real. Now I'm going to do something on that. I'm going to do something on that for you, Pearl. I got you. I got you. I'm going to get the issue. Okay. Homosexuality in the Brotherhood, essential. It's a boys club. Hence the fanny pack. In sports, why? Why do that? Give me a high five. Or push on. Muhammad Ali and the Phantom Punch. I just went down through some random sports facts here too. That was a Phantom Punch. And it's what put Ali on the top of pop culture like he remained. Okay? I'm not finished though. Hold on. That was done on in the second fight with Sonny Liston on 5/25/65. That's May 25th, 1965. And it occurred at 212, duality. Okay? Extreme publicity came from that. Okay? CBSSports.com reports the fix was in. FBI suspected Ali Liston bout in 64 was rigged. That's the fight before the Phantom Punch. The Phantom Punch was Ali Liston 2. The first one was really Clay Liston. Okay? The duality came in for fight number 2. Duality came in and he was a new man. He was another person. He was Muhammad Ali. Okay. After Clay Liston won, he joined the Nation for advancement, for affiliation, and Boule protection. NOI's Masonic ties and Jesuit connection. Look at the way that Elijah Muhammad sat. Look at his hat. Look at all kind of different things like that. Okay. The Masonic connection and the Jesuit connection is in there. Why? Because the Jesuits are supposed to run all organized large religion. Now, to the credit of the brothers who are unawares of these things, no program has done as much to clean up the hood as the Nation of Islam has done over the years. Okay, we're talking about the origins of things and specifics. Okay. And again, too, at the end of the day, assimilation is that's the goal. Uniformity. One form. Uniform. That's why soldiers wear a uniform. Parkinson and Parkinson's disease. All of those historic interviews. Ali on Parkinson. That was the name of the dude who he had all of them historic interviews with, where he was dropping too much knowledge. They gave a dude the disease first. When they name a disease after you, you the pioneer of having that disease. Lou Gehrig's disease. We don't know what it is until they got it. So Parkinson's is made up to shut you up. It shut up Parkinson, who ended up laughing and loving what Ali was saying. You know, went from trying to debate him to feeling him. So he had to be X'd out. You can't have that. He'll be on here talking things that we don't want talk to people we don't want talk to. Again, the black and white chessboard dynamic had to keep in play. And if we get to understand each other like we can and we should and we will and we do, that messes up the plan of the world anew. They have to have that division. Okay? So yes, they gave it to Parkinson, then they gave it to Ali. Okay? They didn't like his mouth. They won't give it to me. How? In the authority of the name of Jesus, I ask, and it shall be given unto me, for full protection from any government infection or injection of anything that would attempt to try to hinder my speech or my ability to think, walk, talk, or fight for what's right, the good fight. And in the authority of the name of Jesus I ask, and in the authority of the name of Jesus it shall be given unto me, and in the authority of the name of Jesus it is done. Have mercy. Now Serena and Venus, and then I'm through. Serena and Venus. Of course we know Venus is a god. Serena, that has to do with peace or serenity. Okay, Sarena. I didn't even look at her name like that, but let's just run through this because they got whole videos on her and them. So I just wanted to touch on a couple of things I noticed. Okay, Serena Williams and enhancement. I believe that she is a woman. I saw the old pictures of her. I remember I've been following her career. Oh my God. Somebody pray for me. And I'm telling you, that's a woman right there. Wendy Williams? No. Serena Williams? Yes. But I use that term carefully. They have injected her with something to make her bigger and stronger. And, you know, they may have injected her with male hormones. She served like a man. She's too strong. Okay? And if you don't think she's under mind control, have you seen her twerking and different things like that? How about Serena Williams' crip walk? showing affiliation to a secret society. A gang is a not so secret society. Okay. So enhancement. Okay. Venus Williams. Interesting name for your daughter. This shows that the father or the mother, one, was into pagan theology. I know a lot of sisters. I know sisters named after cars, and stars, and perfumes. But I don't know none of them named after ancient god like Venus. Not that it ain't none, but when you find that, that's a direct correlation to the fact that your father or your mother was into alternative religions, also called pagan religions. Okay, your father's creepy and the mama sitting there with blonde hair. Now, I'm not trying to talk about all of you ladies out there, but oftentimes blonde hair denotes some sort of self-hate, or, and I'm talking about in black women, when they have blonde hair, there's usually something going on up there. And it's either you're trying to identify with, you're not so with being black. That's not always the case. I'm giving two scenarios. Or you have a strong sense of fashion, what's in. And both of these things, ironically, are often found in the sisters who pledge sororities or become Eastern Stars. I'm just saying. Okay? Well, let's look at some real stuff here. And it's obvious that the dad at least had pageant parent syndrome. That's where you see them crazy parents. They did a reality show on them. Them crazy parents that put them little girls through everything because the parent is trying to live vicariously through the child. Again, so they sacrifice the child to Ball, okay, or to Moloch, in order to receive career advancement or social status themselves. Okay. In July 03, now let's go in line here. Their sister, they had a sister named Yatunda Price. She was the eldest sister. At age 31, again 13 backward, at age 31 she was killed. A gang member was accused in the end, or, that's what I remember from the Jet magazine back then. But she died on 9/14/2003. Okay. Rediff.com says she was shot dead in a confrontation outside an abandoned house. And Telegraph.com says she was shot dead while driving through a district of LA. When I read the stories, what they're saying is she was in Compton. They had moved from Compton. This is what they were saying. Now again, the media make it hard for you to put your finger on these things when they fishy. When they not fishy, it's flat out. Okay? But anyway, she was supposed to have been in Compton and got into an altercation with some people there in the hood. And it resulted in her getting shot and killed. This is what we said. There was another man in the car with her. An unidentified source, they said. An unidentified person, they said. Okay. This is 9/14/2003. Very close to 9/11, which we know is a powerful ritual day. But let's look at that. Okay. Serena won 4th U.S. Open on 9/11. Okay. 9/11/2012, I believe. And Serena is the youngest of Richard and Oracines. I don't talk about her now. 5 girls. And as I said earlier, they moved from Compton to Florida for a quote-unquote training camp in Florida. That was really a mind control camp for gifted and exceptional athletes or children. Okay. In July 2003, Serena wins her 6th major title versus her sister, Venus. Okay. This is 2 months before her sister's death. Okay. That was her 4th in a row. Her 4th title in a row. Okay. The Australian Open 2003 versus Venus. That was the 4th title in a row, excuse me. Okay. So what I was looking for is what happened in 2003. What was going on when the sister died? Well, she won her 4th title in a row. Okay, she won her 6th major title, period. Okay, and at the time of her sister's death, she was in Toronto shooting a movie. So, interesting. There you have it. I believe we've covered all we're going to cover today. We sat here for 3 hours. And yes, Brotherhood members bring in that work. Cocaine business run teams. Columbia, the District of Columbia, Washington, D.C., the capital, is named for another place. The district is named for another place, a place known for slinging that cane. Colombian cocaine. Stars are just a front. The fact that you sing, you dance, or you run fast is only a front for you to work for the government and do something they really need done, something important. So just keep that in mind while you're sporting your Jordans. Keep that in mind while you're watching the game and time is ticking away. Okay, while you're wasting valuable time, okay, watching another man get his shine. What could you be doing with that time? Play a sport for exercise. To exercise your competitive nature, if you have one. But if you believe in yourself, who do you have to compete against in order to feel good? Why compete with another man? Let him be who he is, you be who you are. Everybody stay in their lane. But different strokes for different folks. That's all I can say about it. I don't know what to say for you. So yes, that was part 2, and I doubt if there'll be a part 3, but we're gonna see. We're gonna see what kind of reaction and response we get. And 3:05 has been too long for me to sit. So I'm about to strike out. Baseball terminology. And I don't mean that way neither. I'm about to strike out of here. Strike my feet on the concrete. And I do appreciate your viewership, and I appreciate your love. Always, as always. This is Unplugging, the One Love phone. I thank you again for your viewership and for your time, and for all of your comments, and most of all for your prayers. And stay well rounded, or you'll end up some squares. I'm out of here. Shalom.